10. Mostly cleared tonight, down to 55 for the low, and then we're a little warmer tomorrow. A high of 83 on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Let's be ready for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms passing through Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking dry through Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
We know it's early. Mike's not totally awake yet either. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
I hope you had a fantastic weekend. And yeah, some stuff happened over the weekend when it comes to the news. We're going to get to all that, get caught up on all of that here in just a little bit. But good morning otherwise. Mike Ferguson here. Okay, let's follow the money, shall we? We had the May Day, Communist Day protest all over the country. And, of course, the Southern Poverty Law Center now under indictment. And there's a big push to try to get all these foundations to keep donating money to the SPLC despite all of the criminal accusations of fraud. So why would the left, or so many on the left, be pushing so hard? Maybe I shouldn't say so many on the left. Why would one particular person on the far left be so concerned about the Southern Poverty Law Center? Well, Joseph Vasquez from our friends over at the Media Research Center followed the money, and guess where they led? Here's the conversation. When the emperor has no clothes, why would George Soros rush in to give him a makeover?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because that's apparently what's happening here. And I'm going to connect this. Actually, I'm going to say our friends at the Media Research Center are going to connect this with the Southern Poverty Law Center debacle that's now been exposed. And we're now joined by Joseph Vasquez from the Media Research Center, their business side of it here. And Joseph, good to chat with you again, man. Okay, so obviously we've got, all kinds of sort of, AstroTurf, big protest, no kings. We hate billionaires, except for the billionaire that funds us all this. And so MRC Business, you're digging into the numbers on this. And I think it's interesting how you're, connecting George Soros to all of these protests and things. We know that's happening right here, but why would they rush in and spend a bunch of money trying to rebuild or build the facade of the Southern Poverty Law Center at this point? Because according to your report, I was reading it, we're talking about some big money. They are rushing to try to save the Southern Poverty Law Center's reputation and influence.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, one of the things about the Soros grantee circle is that when any one of them gets threatened, they all converge like angry bees around a beehive to protect it. And the SPLC happens to be one of Soros's grantees. And so now a number of groups, lefty groups that signed onto this letter trying to pressure charities like Fidelity Charitable, Vanguard Charitable, and a Charles Schwab affiliate. They're trying to pressure them into resuming donations to the SPLC because all those organizations had stopped processing them after they were indicted for, let's see, what was that again? Fraud. But the thing is, the Soros regime actually sees the SPLC as being useful in its political operation because it's arguably to its credit, it's been one of the most effective organizations against the right, even to the point of, stoking chaos on the ground. I remember years ago, I think it was in 2012, 2013, that there was a shooting at the Family Research Council. Mm-hmm. And the perpetrator ended up using a hate map that was drafted by the SPLC. I mean, and that labeled the FRC as a hate group. These are Christians. But the thing is, why the SPLC fits the Soros brand is because Soros is a financier of chaos. He's a connoisseur of chaos. He benefits when there is chaos in the streets, when there's chaos in the political sphere. This is why he does it. This is why he protects his grantees, especially the ones that foment this kind of strife. So, this is just par for the course. But guess what? Anytime you see these kinds of efforts, never believe that they're organic. They are not grassroots. They're, as you said, they're AstroTurf. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so we're talking some massive money here. I'm looking at some of the notes that I got from your team here. At least 10 Soros-backed groups, including the New Venture Fund and Hopewell Fund, pumped a combined $204 million plus into the effort to badger charities into resuming donations to the indicted SPLC. How on earth do you spend $204 million trying to get donations back up and running. I mean, if you feel that strongly, why not give them $204 million directly?
Well, here's the interesting thing about that. Soros finances a bunch of these groups, and he knows what they do. He knows what they're capable of. And the thing is, what he does is that he just dumps a ton of money into their coffers. He turns his back, and then these groups do whatever they want with the money that they're given. The money is fungible. I mean, so $204 million over what? Over an 8-year period that he's poured into these organizations. And the important thing that I want your listeners to understand is that the groups that I mentioned here, the New Venture Fund, the Hopeful Fund, and the Windward Fund, all of them were previously part of the dark money giant Arabella Advisors, which is this massive consulting firm for dark money liberal organizations, and it's been described as pretty much it's probably one of the most powerful leftist dark money operations in the country. And it just dissolved in November 2025 after receiving, investigative threats from the GOP-led Congress because of their interference in elections and other things. So they're dissolved. They moved to a different service called the Sunflower Services, but these funds that it operated previously still operate. And the added thing to this is that Soros is a heavy financier of all of them. I think the New Venture Fund by itself received over $88 million from Soros. So, I mean, this is, one of the rules that I found when researching Soros is that anytime you see something like this pop up, you look underneath enough rocks, you are 95% guaranteed that you're going to find Soros money. It's almost a given that that's what you're going to find.
We're visiting with Joseph Vasquez from our friends at the Media Research Center. We're going to tell you how to find his report because basically you're following the money here is what we're saying. And one of the things I think is fascinating about this particular case, Joseph, is we have had other ultra left-wing groups that get exposed, people get indicted, they end up getting dissolving, and then they just sort of regroup and rename and pop up somewhere else. In this,
exactly.
Yeah. And you go back to Acorn and some of those groups back in the day. Mm-hmm. In this particular case here, you've got a concerted effort to preserve the brand that's been criminally indicted. What's different about the Southern Poverty Law Center than, say, Acorn and some of the others? You could even argue Black Lives Matter. They've been dissolved in some areas because of all the criminal, convictions and that sort of thing. So why not just take what they're doing, let the brand go away and pop it up somewhere else? What's different about this brand?
Well, the SPLC is synonymous with leftist lawfare. I mean, one of the things that we do know about the Soros brand is trying to elect a number of soft-on-crime district attorneys across the country by pouring millions into their coffers, into organizations that back them in order to foment chaos. That's what he does. The SPLC is kind of like the epitome of this effort. So, when people say Southern Poverty Law Center, they immediately think, well, leftist lawfare operation. Well, that's useful for the leftist political movement. So the brand is already ingrained into people's memories. People, if you were just to mention the Southern Poverty Law Center, especially those who are politically savvy, they know exactly what you're talking about. So it's a valuable brand for the Soros operation. It's a valuable brand for what used to be Arabella Advisors. I mean, so they're going to do whatever they can in order to keep it going because guess what? It's considered to be a very powerful entity, and it's caused enough chaos and has swayed so much of the public opinion against the right and against Christians and faith-based organizations. I mean, this is what it's been doing for years. It's not new. So guess what? Because it fits that agenda, they're going to try to keep that brand and keep that name in people's mouths for as long as they possibly can, despite the fact that they happen to be engaging in fraud. And the thing is, I know we didn't talk about this, but the indictment was specifically regards to the Southern Poverty Law Center giving millions of dollars to the very racist neo-Nazi groups that it purported to be fighting against to begin with. It's like you're propping up your own enemy so that you could make yourself out to be the hero. And yet it still didn't make a dent in these Soros groups' efforts to try to maintain the brand. It just goes to show these are not good people. These are people that are not interested in the truth. They're not interested And they're not interested in American exceptionalism. They're not interested in maintaining maintaining justice. They're only out there to fulfill one thing, which is the leftist political agenda, which is epitomized by the Soros brand.
Yeah, I guess you could also take that brand, Joseph, and point out that literally up until a day or two before the indictments were unsealed and they were announced, I was still seeing mainstream media citing the SPLC as a source to denigrate, different conservative groups. So they were still looked at as subject matter experts. But at least the mainstream media was trying to portray them that way. I haven't seen anything since the indictment, but that brand is still being, we're not supposed to question that because you know what? They're the racist and anti-Nazi group, and they were still being used as a source on that.
Oh, you want to hear something even funnier? Remember when Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple had announced he was retiring? He announced he was retiring a day before the news came of the SPLC indictment. And what do we know about Apple and the SPLC? Well, after the Charlottesville Fine People hoax affair, Tim Cook was boasting to his employees that he was going to be donating $1 million to the SPLC's coffers and processing donations to the SPLC. And now coincidence, maybe, but it's just funny that he announced his retirement, the day before this news came out because it makes him look really bad.
Oh, man. All right. So we've covered the basics here, Joseph. I just got a minute or so left here. MRC Business. I mean, this is where we're going to find your work on this. What's maybe one of the bigger surprises people should look for when they look up your article on this? Well, what you should look for is just first of all, the amount of money that Soros is willing to pump into these causes. And the thing is, he gives money. He's like a cash cow. He gives money into these radical organizations. They do whatever they want, and then Soros just plays dumb, like he doesn't know what they're going to do. And that's what the Open Society Foundation does every time you point this out. So we didn't know that they were going to do this. No, they know exactly what they were doing. What Soros said years ago, I think it was in 1995. It was in his book, a long-form interview called Soros on Soros. Soros said, of course, what I can do can be called meddling because open society transcends national sovereignty. He's dedicated to this agenda, and money is no object when it comes to pushing his agenda. That's why he poured $32 billion into his Open Society foundations in order to make his dark Open Society worldview a reality. I mean, I think it was Morton Abramowitz, the former head of the Carnegie Endowment Fund, who said that Soros is the only private citizen in the world who has his own foreign policy and can implement it. I have never heard that description given to any other billionaire except this one person. So America should be wary anytime you see any event like this, whether it be the May Day protest from years ago, the May Day protest from a couple of days ago, or to this new letter trying to pressure charities to resume donations to the SPLC, always bet that there is big money behind it, and it's typically coming from Soros. Yeah, and I know that a lot of people are saying, oh, man, George Soros is 150 years old, so at least he'll be gone at some point, but his son may be more radical than he is. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he has youth on his side. And the funny thing is that Soros is such a narcissist. I mean, just to give you an example, I think it was in 1993, The Independent had reported this amazing, take that, interpret that as you will, this amazing quote from Soros that I think just encapsulates the whole thing. He said, quote, "It's sort of a disease when you consider yourself some kind of God, the creator of everything, but I became more comfortable with it now that I began to live it out," end quote. Need I say more? Yeah, exactly. All right, 314-912-1019. And, of course, we've got the chat box open on Rumble and all of the comments on Facebook. You can tweet at us as well once you're involved in the conversation. All right, we're going to talk to Congressman Bob Onder here in just a little bit, right around 7:35, as we normally do on Mondays, to get the update from the Capitol now that the lawmakers are headed back to Washington, D.C. So we got a lot of ground to cover today on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime.
Everywhere.
Anywhere.
Tim Jones here to introduce you to your new favorite roofing company, Corel Roofing. There were 4 major storms last year. Did your roof take a hit? Do you even know? Most homeowner insurance policies require claims to be filed within 1 year, so time's running out for a closer look. At Corel Roofing Company, you get a local roofing specialist who will advocate for you every step of the way. Give yourself peace of mind. Schedule your roof inspection today with Corel Roofing at CorellRoofingCo.com. That's CorellRoofingCo.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Speaking with Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway.
I'm particularly concerned about the products that are really aimed at kids that look like Skittles, Chips Ahoy cookies, Doritos that contain THC. So these places are selling pot, but they're also selling these other products that you can't make any argument but that they are targeted at kids.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Dreaming about a vacation but not sure where to start? Should you book that all-inclusive resort or a cruise? Which destination? What cruise line? And how do you know you're getting the best value? That's where Magic Expeditions comes in. We're your St. Louis local travel experts, helping you choose the vacation that fits. Whether a relaxing adults-only escape, family-friendly resort, or unforgettable cruise adventure, skip the stress, the guessing, and endless online searching. Visit magicexpeditions.com. That's magicexpeditions.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Okay, just when I'm out and about and striking up conversations with people, I'm noticing an interesting trend. Tell me if you're noticing the same thing or if you're noticing something totally different, because our social circles can be different.
I would imagine.
And that would be, I don't really hear people talking about the war in Iran very much.
No.
I do hear them talking about the effects of it with the gas prices.
Yeah, okay, yes, I've actually noticed that as well. Even people that I know that are on our side of the aisle, the focus is very much on gas prices, potentially other ripple effects. It's not so much on the actual actions being taken itself.
Okay, so it's not just me noticing that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, now the political types, the media types, but this is one of the things about media is like we try to tell you this is what you have to be thinking about instead of going, what's on your mind? Because I'm not hearing people talk about what's getting blown up. I don't hear people talking about the Strait of Hormuz. I don't hear people talking about Hezbollah. I don't hear people talking about any of these things. Just those ripple effects, like you said, ripple effects. That's a good way to. And I just think that's really interesting. Now, part of this is going to be, and Susie's pointed this out a number of times, is that we're not seeing casualties. I mean, we have had, thank God, only 12 or 13 casualties total in this entire war that's now going into approaching a third month now.
For our troops.
For our, yeah, exactly. For our, we've blown the crap out of all kinds of stuff and killed tens of thousands of people, thousands or tens of thousands of people. But on the U.S. side, we're just not seeing, the caskets at, at Dover and places like that. And that drives so much public opinion. But I think the fact that we're not seeing that, we're only hearing big numbers and concepts and $25 billion. we're so immune to that now, even though $25 billion is a massive amount of money for a war that also one that was never authorized by Congress, and it's questionable as to how long the legality of this is going to be. We'll see.
Or even if we achieved our goals with it.
Right. And so I think we're so used to massive numbers thrown at us that people are just going about our lives, except I'm making decisions now based on the gas prices. And I have heard people actually say, I am changing some things because of these gas prices.
Yeah, I know people as well, and then they thankfully work pretty good jobs. So it could be worse, I suppose, but there are quite a few people that I know as well that are not working very good jobs, and they are very much feeling the impact of having to decide if they can even go out and DoorDash, if they can go out and be a delivery person, some of that nature, because I think we focus right now mostly on what we can immediately feel, what we can immediately see. So conceptually, I think a lot of people can realize that Iran should not have nuclear weapons, that they fund terrorist groups, that Hezbollah is bad people, that should not they should be wiped off the map as far as I'm concerned, but we're not going to feel the immediate effects of that unless something happens on our soil, but we can feel every time we go to the gas pump, or if we're looking at the prices of goods and things going up or being out of stock, delayed shipping, stuff like that. So it's interesting, though, that people are actually having these conversations more, because I know a lot of people that just stay out of politics altogether. They don't care whatsoever, and yet I'm still hearing people asking me now, well, what should I really make about this?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's the old cliche. You may not take an interest in politics, but politics will take an interest in you.
Oh, I like that.
And that's what's happening. That's what you just described, is people like, listen, I don't give a crap about Republican or Democrat or Congress or what. They just, they don't want to be part of the chaos. And I understand that. But then they go, but man, I mean, we're middle income, or we're normal income people in St. Louis. And if I've got to fill up my car, I've got 2 or 3 kids, and I've got stuff at work, and I've got stuff with my kids after school games or music club, or I need to get to the store. And what they're saying is $1 to $1.50 a gallon for, let's say, a 15, 18 gallon vehicle. And if you got a couple of those and you're filling up once a week or twice a week even, that's a big hit to your monthly budget. When you extrapolate that out, that could be 4 to 8 times per month. And that's a lot of money for a normal family in the Midwest. And this is affecting people a lot. Now, this isn't a Republican thing or a Democrat thing, but what's happening there is affecting us here. So we'll dig into that a little bit more real quick. And I'm going to dig into this a little bit later on as well. Battlehawks, by the way, held on to the second place in the UFL, kind of thumped the Aviators as we thought they were going to do. Boy, the DC Defenders lost this week. So now DC is 5-1 or 5-1 or 6-1, but Battlehawks are 5-2. Orlando also 5-2. They barely won.
Ooh.
Yeah. So actually, we almost were in second place all by ourselves, which is huge when it comes to the playoffs. But here's the interesting thing: is the game was on Friday night at the Dome, and I remember kind of questioning out loud. I'm like, what kind of turnout you going to get downtown Friday night? Because I said I would love to go to the game, but nope. A lot of other people thought the same way. Their turnout was about half of what they normally get. Now, there were other things going on. I mean, this was Mom's Day weekend, and I think there were some graduations, and I think there were some proms and stuff like that, but not enough to account for a 15,000 fan difference from what they normally average, because they're averaging overall the last few years 32,000 per game.
And so by percentage-wise, absolutely, that's unfortunate, but still 15,000 people to show up. I mean,
massive.
That just really shows people love the Battlehawks.
But let me tell you something. This coming week's game is Saturday at 2 p.m.
Ooh.
I may go to that one.
You might have a rare.
I may have to make it to that
Mike
one.
Ferguson sighting out
I
there.
would love. I love Battlehawks games. They do a great job. It's a lot of fun. And listen, Hawks, they went out. They may end up either in second or third place, which guarantees a playoff spot. But we really need that second place so we can get that home field one playoff game at the Dome. That would be awesome.
This year, America turns 250, and NewsTalk STL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. NewsTalk STL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration. Anthony's Produce, Cole O. Combs, and Heroes Care. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 101.9 and 94.1 NewsTalk STL.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
Every 40 seconds, a child disappears. That's 2,000 children every single day. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization fighting to bring them home, but we can't do it without you. Your unwanted car, running or not, can help find missing kids, reunite families, and support the search and rescue efforts that protect children every day. We'll pick it up fast and free with a 24-hour response, and your donation may qualify for a tax deduction. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help locate missing children and educational programs that teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators before it's too late. Together, we can give families hope and bring children home where they belong. Donate your car today and help bring a child home. Find the Children, because every child deserves to come home.
800-757-1340. 800-757-1340. That's 800-757-1340.
This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380. Paid for by U.S. Med.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is NewsTalk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
This hour from Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump pulls no punches when it comes to his feelings about Iran's response to a U.S. peace proposal. On Truth Social, Mr. Trump writes, I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. 2 words, all capital letters, totally unacceptable. While there has been a lot of speculation, specifics of the U.S. peace proposal were not released. The Iran war could cast a chill over the president's visit to China later in the week. China is a key Iranian ally, the largest single buyer of Iranian oil. This will be Mr. Trump's second visit to China as president. His first trip was in 2017 during his first term. A French woman and 2 Americans have tested positive or showed symptoms of hantavirus. They're among passengers evacuated from a cruise ship in the Canary Islands and sent back to their home countries where they are in quarantine. The 17 American passengers are quarantined in Nebraska. U.S. Africa Command has recovered the body of one of the 2 American soldiers who went missing during a military exercise in Morocco a week ago.
The Army has identified that missing soldier as First Lieutenant Kenrick Lamont Key, Jr. A Moroccan military search team found the 27-year-old American Air Defense Artillery officer. Lieutenant Key became one of 2 soldiers who fell off a cliff during a recreational hike. The Army reported both service members missing on May 2nd after taking part in African Lion, an annual multinational military exercise.
And correspondent Andrew Stewart says the search for the other missing American soldier goes on. Stock futures bouncing between small gains and modest losses so far this morning. Right now, the Dow futures are down 17 points. NASDAQ futures off 24 and the S&P futures 5 points lower. More on these stories, townhall.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Dry air and sunshine in control. No need for that umbrella today as we kick off a new work week. Up to 77 this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Mostly cleared tonight, down to 55 for the low. And then we're a little warmer tomorrow. A high of 83 on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Let's be ready for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms passing through Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking dry through Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL. Brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time, make this free call now, and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
Free speech is alive and well in America right here.
It's about time somebody stood up for true American values.
What this country needs is some backbone.
Finally, a president who wants to make real change.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Mike Ferguson.
Big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
Susie Moore.
Do you think he's ready?
He's not ready.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
Okay, so this is interesting. At 8:05, we're going to talk to Kirk Hilzinger from the St. Louis City Republicans.
Okay.
It's always fun when Kirk stops in. So they passed a couple resolutions at their last meeting.
Okay.
You know, which that's what political central committees do. One of them is calling on the city to end its lawsuit against the state over the police and the police board and all this sort of thing. Makes perfect sense. I completely get it.
Sure.
The other one kind of made me do a double take. And not a lot of politicians make me do double takes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say I'm experienced. I'm just jaded at this
I was just going to say jaded, cynical, you name it.
I am. But they're calling on the governor and the legislature, the governor to call and the legislature to hold a special session this month, because this is the last week of the Missouri legislative session, in order to gerrymander Missouri's congressional maps again and make Missouri an 8-0 state and completely eliminate any Democratic district in lieu of the recent Supreme Court
Take a
ruling.
page out of Tennessee's book.
Right, out of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that here in a second. Speaking of Tennessee, oh my goodness, this is, if you were to write a reality show, it would be the least believable reality show that's out there. If you were to write a political drama, this would be the worst one that would never make it to air. But it is nuts what some of the reactions have been in Tennessee. I mean, standing up on like desks in the state capitol and screaming. Another guy saying, "Let my people go." I'm like, wait, what?
Go where?
Who's holding you?
You know, the term gets overused frequently, and particularly in like media and politics, meltdown. But that's what we are witnessing is a full-on meltdown.
It was a mental health break.
I want to have the people that are having that meltdown explain to me how they're losing their ever-loving minds over losing, potentially, Steve Cohen.
Right.
Did you explain that one?
Did you see the?
Can you explain that one to me?
Did you see the CNN like roundtable on this thing that happened? Was that Thursday or Friday? I think it happened.
I saw the still of it, but I didn't actually watch the video.
I saw. I should have grabbed the video audio, but basically they're reacting to this ruling, and of course the young leftists who are on the panel and think they know stuff, and they're they're up there, talking about how horrific this is and it's racist and all this kind of stuff. And then there was who I'm assuming was the token Republican at the table. She goes, the likely winner of this is going to be a black Republican woman.
Yeah.
Who's going to replace an old white guy. And she actually said old white man.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, is that racist? And two of the Democratic panelists go, well, yeah, it actually is. And then the host is like, we got to go to a break real quick. We'll come back to this. And it cut it off right away. But they were looking at it like, well, yeah, it is.
It is in the tradition of, I don't like it, therefore it's racist.
Right.
That's the definition they're using.
See, can I apply that anywhere else?
Sure. Why not?
The Cardinals lost yesterday.
It's racist.
That's racist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is. It totally is.
I got into work this morning, and I had the tragedy of, I was doing, my protein shake with the stuff I give from church stuff, and the little cap on my shaker bottle popped open, and I lost half of it.
Totally racist.
Racist.
Totally.
I think it's racist. You forgot your coffee coming into work today.
Very racist.
Definitely racist.
Obviously racist. Yeah.
Very racist.
Completely.
Was it black coffee?
Well, I mean, I did have cream and sugar.
Okay.
So I don't know if that changes things, but that's racist.
It was
little racist. Little racist.
Just
I mean, is there any other kind of coffee though?
Well, yeah. I mean, black just means without all that stuff you put in there that I put in my stuff too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean,
it's like the stuff that Jerome.
But
drinks.
I put stuff in it, so I added to it. But that's racist too, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, Jerome, I'm pretty sure that
I haven't had enough caffeine, and that is definitely racist.
That's right. Did you ever see that? Did you ever see the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray back in the day?
I've seen clips.
It's the comedic take up of A Christmas Carol. And I can see like someday Jerome's going to do this. We're going to have the horrible misfortune of like our coffee machine not working or something, which would be totally racist.
Absolutely racist.
And he's going to be the Bill Murray character, and he's going to be taking a spoon and just scooping the coffee grounds into his mouth and chewing them and just going, I got to get my coffee. I just have to have my coffee. I can see that happening.
No comment.
Okay,
I plead
I'm
the
just
fifth.
saying. Okay, so but you had the one state rep, the one that it was the one I think that was like thrown out, and then he got
It's Justin Pearson.
Yeah, that dude's he's like he's their version of what was the moron's name here who kept stirring up all the stuff, and then he ended up in Arizona or whatever. The activist here who kept starting. Was it Rashid? Because he went to Baltimore and stirred up a bunch of crap, and they went to Arizona, and people were like, I think it was not Rashid, but it was one of those BLM types that had his moment in the sun for a minute on MSNBC.
Yeah, no, Justin Pearson is a performative, character.
I mean, literally in the face, screaming at a law enforcement officer, calling him boy and, MFer and, screaming. And it's like, you're lucky you're in the state capitol right now, surrounded by a whole bunch of witnesses. State patrol and state police tend to be, among the more elite in any particular state, but you might have gotten your butt whooped if you'd gotten into a face that aggressively. That would have reasonably been considered threatening in any other situation. So then the one woman's up there screaming on top of the desks. I mean, literally climbing up and screaming on top
Yeah, and she was in like a white or a cream colored suit, so she like looked business professional and whatever. And she's up there like pitching a fit on top of the desk, and she was like in a tug of war over like a scarf.
Yeah,
or something.
the sergeant of arms was
like trying to pull her down.
Yeah,
without pulling her down.
And she's a hefty gal. I don't think you want that.
Well, yeah, I think
I'm just saying, politics aside, there's physics involved.
There were physics involved, and I think he wanted to get her down without there being an issue like with her tumbling to the ground or anybody getting hurt, because that would have been horrible. Yeah,
Justin
that
Pearson would have been watched millions and millions and millions of times.
Justin Pearson has decided he's going to be like the face of progressive activism and racism.
Yeah. Basically
fighting anti-racism.
Okay, so then you look at Missouri, kind of where we started here, and the St. Louis City GOP says they want Missouri to pass an 8-0 map because now the Supreme Court says you can't consider race as the only factor for drawing congressional districts. Well, that's the only reason District 1 is drawn the way that it is.
Correct.
And that's not even a controversial statement. That's just accepted because it is cited constantly that because the Voting Rights Act of whatever year that was just ruled on that you can't use race as the primary factor. And it's Republican and Democrat both. They'll say, well, yeah, District 1's written to make sure that there's a black Democrat who's elected. And so they're calling for an 8-0 map.
Okay.
And they want the governor to call a special session this month to redraw the maps, which I don't believe is constitutional by any stretch in the Missouri Constitution, but they're arguing that it could be. So Kirk's going to be here at 8:05 to make his case for that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at the provisions of the Missouri Constitution that would govern that. Obviously, we've already had the deadline for the primaries closed. I feel like
and that's why I don't think it would pass.
Ship has probably sailed.
Yeah.
Although certainly that it seems like it's on the table for next go round.
2028, right?
Yeah, and that was one of the things proposed when they were talking about redistricting was going 8-0, and I think there was a hesitation to just go for broke with it, and of course the Supreme Court hadn't ruled yet about how you interpret Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to hear Kirk make the case for that. I mean, the referendum or the resolution rather on calling for the city to drop the lawsuit against state, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they should be doing. And they're right about that. But I'm curious as to what anybody thinks about saying, let's have an 8-0 map because we can, basically.
Well, yeah. And I don't necessarily fault that because we can, but you still need to abide by the rules so that you don't end up in a Virginia situation. And, I think there's nothing wrong with necessarily getting the conversation going about it, which is what, calling for it will do.
Yeah, and political parties, I mean, their job is to advance the success and the cause of the political parties. And so that's what they're,
if you're a Republican in the city of St. Louis, the prospect of theoretically having a Republican representative in Congress must be just like, very alluring. I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, so I don't necessarily fault him for trying to promote the conversation.
Right.
I don't think Missouri's going to do that.
I don't think it will. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating to hear. So Kirk will be here, like I said, 8:05 to chat about that. That's going to be an interesting conversation because they seem to be pretty fired up about the resolution and asking for the special session. Now, a special session, I don't think could change anything this year, but would a special session again create something that would be for 2028?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I haven't heard any talk that there's going to be a special session this year, but we'll see.
We will see. We will also see what's going to go on in the St. Charles County executive race because we've got a big event coming up on June 2nd. NewsTalkSTL, the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise, and the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee will be hosting a live debate at Lindenwood University at the J. Scheidegger Center for the Arts. St. Charles County executive candidates Jason Law, Bill Eigel, and incumbent Steve Ellman will take on questions from a panel well-versed in St. Charles County issues. Myself included.
Yes, right.
All live on NewsTalkSTL. Tailgate with us before the debate. Tim and Chris are going to be live from Lindenwood from 4 to 6 p.m. Doors are going to open at 5:45. Program starts at 6:30. Debate begins live on NewsTalkSTL at 7 p.m. Sponsored by Mid-Rivers News Magazine and the Lewis and Clark Pachyderms Club. For all the information, go to newstalkstl.com.
So anybody can just walk in and harass Chris and Tim?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice.
Well, there you go again, listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning. on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here for All Solutions Pest Control, the team Christine and I trust to protect our home. We've used multiple services at multiple homes over the years, and I can tell you from all that experience, All Solutions is second to none. If you have a pest problem of any kind, or more importantly, just want to prevent a problem, All Solutions is the team to call. Learn more and take advantage of their incredible $67 introductory offer right now at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Producer Joey V from the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show here, reminding you, don't waste a buck on movies that suck. Tune in to Joey V's Movies Fridays at 5:45 for reviews you can trust. Brought to you by Harry J's Steakhouse in Moscow Mills.
Hey, this is Chris Arps. If you enjoy a good cigar like I do, check out Dorset Cigar at 11396 Dorset Road in Maryland Heights. They'll help you find the perfect smoke, and they have a fantastic premium selection. Mention promo code NewsTalkSTL for 7% off. Visit DorsetCigar.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee, because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, we mentioned this on Friday, but I'm already over all this hantavirus fear porn, as Dr. Drew Pinsky has kind of put it.
Yep.
But the whole story, because now you've got the stories that it's they're now docking and people are getting off and they're flying them, and I've seen some of the media do maps like there's at least one person confirmed to have hantavirus, and they put up a U.S. map and then they highlighted like 5 or 6 states where the people went home, and so but the whole story does kind of, as the kids call it, affirm one of my icks,
and that is
cruises in general.
Oh,
okay. So I want to get that here. But real quick, media and politicians, they are just trying to scare the crap out of us again. I'm not sensing that it's working. Maybe I'm just in the bubble of, conservative social media and stuff, although I try to follow as much stuff on the left as the ones that I can stomach, who I think at least are trying to have an argument or a debate, sincere or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sensing that people are going for it again.
Oh, no. I mean, there's a certain segment of the population will.
Yeah, you can spot them easily. They're still walking around with masks.
Well,
I saw a few of them this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I have always behaved myself, because all I want to do is look at them and go, you look like an idiot, right? I have not done that. I've thought it, but I've not actually done it. So I'm just giving myself a pat on the back.
Gold star for Mike.
Yes.
Yes. But no, I think the vast majority of us are still, smarting, if you will, from COVID, and not in any way, shape, or form going to be like, okay.
Right.
Just because, some government official and public health official says, oh, you should be worried about this. Oh,
right.
Really? Yeah.
And
the problem is, if there comes a point where we should be worried about it, people are going to be like, whatever.
Yeah, boy that cried wolf
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And that's, I forgot where it was, which media outlet it was that put up the big screen. And of course, like one of the states was Arizona, and another one I think was Texas, where there was one person, I guess, who was on the cruise, who had gone home, who had, or is going home and had tested positive for the hantavirus, whatever that is. And of course, the big states look big visually.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're talking about one person out of 30, 40 million people, or 20, 30 million, whatever it is.
Right.
And so the media is there to get clicks. They're there to get views. They're there to get audience. And I mean, that's obviously what we do here.
Sure.
I just think you've got to be able to do it in a way that is a little more intellectually, what's the word I'm looking for?
Honest?
Honest? Yeah. Honest, which, I just look, I'm like, these are trained journalists, people who know what they should be doing if they don't do it. I was almost embarrassed on their behalf, Jerome, even though I don't think they are.
Yeah, I saw over the weekend a article that quite literally was posted as the cruise ship will not be returned to harbor. Instead, it will be floating while people in hazmat suits come to assess the situations of the doomed passengers.
Doomed?
Doomed?
The word doomed.
Oh, my God.
Doomed passengers before they will then be flown back to a dozen different countries. And
what?
So first of all, now there are people that have passed away. This is a virus that's been going around for years now. It's just never really made spotlight.
It's got a pretty high mortality rate.
Yeah,
it does.
It's like 40%.
It does.
Yeah.
It's just not necessarily. It's first of all it's not really human to human transmissible.
No, it's not respiratory.
And it's also not highly transmissible.
Right.
So
it's very rare.
Yeah.
And it should stay that way. So immediately the thought is you use the word doomed.
Yeah.
You use the I can't even think of a time I've ever seen the word doomed in news media.
Well, not outside of a superhero comic book, but no.
Or ironically, like sometimes people talk about like the sweet meteor of death or whatever, in that sense, but not seriously.
I voted for him, by the way.
Yeah.
Then the second part of that, though, is the backlash from the idea that you're going to keep them quarantined for a period of time, but then you are going to be then shipping out these quote unquote doomed individuals back to different countries. And it sounds like it isn't like, it's not like they're intentionally trying to spread it around, but it's like, if you know these people are doomed and you know that they're sick, why are you then going to be transporting them until you can quarantine everybody and say, okay, you are no longer a risk to others?
I mean, it's almost like, we'll just put them in body bags, but they're still alive. Doesn't matter. They're doomed.
They're doomed.
Oh my God.
They're
okay.
doomed.
So this is unrelated. I certainly get the appeal, of all the cool stuff like what you can do with cruises. I mean, theme cruises anywhere in the world. I mean, if I'm going to do a cruise, I'm going to do like the Monsters of Rock cruise, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But aren't you just basically on a floating petri dish of whatever people walk in with on those things? That's why I'm like, I get it, but I'm like, that's not on my to-do list.
I guess, but how is that different from an airplane?
Oh, I don't think that it is.
Right. And with the cruise ship, you've got the open air, of the
Right.
decks and stuff. So,
although with airplanes, with the whole HEPA filters they've got, they've actually tested the air, and it is generally cleaner and safer in the airplane than it is in most indoor spaces in this country.
well, okay. And that's fair too.
But it's not open air.
Right. So, I mean, I feel like between the open air decks and that sort of thing, yes, there definitely is. That's where you see a lot of like virus outbreaks, particularly of the like intestinal variety. Like, ugh. I've never been on a cruise.
I haven't either. No.
I will tell you that the one that appeals to me is the idea of doing like one of those Viking River cruises, like through Europe, like along the river.
Yeah,
but you're getting on and off a lot too. It's not like you're out in the middle of the vast expanse of the ocean and you have nowhere to go.
Right. Yeah. That's where, I mean, the locations and the concept. I mean, that I totally get that, but just for some reason, I'm like,
I've never felt like I wanted to go on a cruise just to go on a cruise.
Yeah, same.
I'd rather go to Vegas for that, for that kind of like, it's a kind of a, not a wild environment. What's like the, like, I know, but that's not what I'm trying to say.
I'm just saying, if there's going to be a wild one in the room, it's probably going to be Susie.
Well, sure. But my point is, that's not like a beach vacation or a skiing vacation, but it's basically just going someplace for a party the whole time. Vegas is what comes to mind when you think of that. A cruise ship is kind of what comes to mind when you think of that. But yeah, I know people that go on cruises all the time.
Oh, I do too. They love them.
Love them.
Love them.
So I'm sure.
And I see the thing is, I get it. I see the appeal. I am not anti-cruise. I just can't bring myself to go, boy, that's what I want to do with my vacation.
Or my money.
Right. And a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I do think that the hype has been, we're seeing it because that's how media operates. But if there is cause for concern, I think there's way too many people that are going to be like, sorry, no sale.
So what's different this time? I mean, for instance, with COVID, almost all of that was media driven. They took what CDC and, people like Faisal Khan and Tashara Jones and people like that. What was it? And media successfully sold this as an apocalyptic thing, and to some degree, almost all of us bought into it. And this time around, it just every 4, 5, 6 months they try to test the edge. How far can they go? Yeah, they try to push it. Everyone's like, or new variant of COVID. This could be worse than the last one.
Does anyone listen to that anymore? It's like, who cares?
But they keep trying. That's what drives me nuts is they keep trying. But so far, people have said no dice, no sale, like you said. And I love that. But what's different now?
Well, we lived through it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just experience. And it is, like you said earlier, it's the boy who cried wolf phenomenon. I mean, it worked. It worked fantastically the first time around. Mm-hmm. It really, really did. Which isn't to say that it wasn't a serious situation. It was. But the fear-mongering and the, basically cowing the entire populace really, really worked tremendously well. So, I mean, it's like, a hit of crack. They want more. That's my explanation.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had health anxiety going on, hypochondria sort of behavior. And due to the fact that COVID was relatively unknown at the time when it was, it's been studied for a while, but this specific variant, people had never heard of it. And the way that it got pushed onto people who we are experiencing, for better or for worse, a resurgence of collectivist ideology of we need to all collectively take care of it, that kind of socialist mentality. So I think that the people that the fear tactics worked on originally, because it was so fresh, those people that still buy into the masking idea, for example, they still buy into that, but they feel safer now because they can put a cheap little paper filter, like coffee filter over their face, and they think it works. Everybody else realized, oh, well, this is not the apocalypse, and you just got to take better care of yourself, and it's basically no different than getting the flu.
Well, thank goodness during the COVID, the flu completely disappeared for a couple of years. Can you imagine how bad it would have been if the flu actually happened? Because look at the numbers. Coronavirus and COVID, boy, those numbers were apparently off the charts, but flu was basically zero. Imagine that.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, funny how that works.
I will tell you that I made a weekend trip to Target, since I had Walmart last week. I did Target, and there were a couple of the people that worked there that were masked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, is this because you've been hearing about hantavirus, or is this leftover COVID? I don't know. They were the woman who checked me out. Very, very nice. Couldn't have been more pleasant. Happened to have a mask on. I just am like, you do you. Sometimes people have other stuff going on that I don't know about, so you do you.
The two
just
people
don't
I saw,
expect me to.
The two people I saw this weekend, and I've seen outside with masks on, outside, including Saturday was a pretty nice day. Outside with a mask on.
I've seen people sitting alone in their cars with masks on.
I've seen them driving with,
And I give them a little honk, I give them a little wave, and I laugh at them. Yeah. They don't like that.
Is there any argument or possibility for some people who have like a super duper sensitivity to allergens and stuff in the air, maybe having and have serious respiratory issues, maybe deriving some benefit from some of those masks?
It's either psychologically but boy, there seems to be over representation of those people out there.
So when it comes to things like the common cold or allergens in general, the masks do, because of the way that they filter out things. So the issue specifically with COVID became the virus is so small.
Right.
It was just getting right through there. It was doing nothing. And that's where, so if you have if you're
Right.
sneezing, then you have a mask on, good on you for not spreading that, but it's not going to stop something like COVID.
Yeah. I do feel like there's some people who might have legitimate hypochondriac type reason for doing it, so I'm not going to be judgmental necessarily, but I'm not going to be.
I say they're guilty until proven innocent. I'm just saying. The American way.
Oh, this sounds like something right out of a thriller. His career started in reality TV, and now he's back doing another reality TV show. How does a cabinet secretary have that kind of time? We'll tell you what's going on at 6:35.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
You are a bully?
On News Talk STL.
Good news, we'll work its way to all them plans. All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. We keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Dry air and sunshine in control. No need for that umbrella today as we kick off a new work week. Up to 77 this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Mostly cleared tonight, down to 55 for the low. And then we're a little warmer tomorrow. A high of 83 on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Let's be ready for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms passing through Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking dry through Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
1 in 4 women will have an abortion before the age of 45 in this country. That's the tragedy we must work to stop. Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show here, and that is why Reach Reproductive Health is here, to empower parents to save the lives of innocent children and to see these families come to Christ. And you can be a part of saving and changing lives. So pray and visit outreachforlife.org to learn more, volunteer, and donate. That's outreachforlife.org.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Futuristic newborn babies? What is next? We're going to talk to Martin Moyer about that Monday at 10:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Good morning, St. Louis. Hey, it's Vince from The Vince Show right here on News Talk STL every weeknight at 8. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
So apparently one of our cabinet secretaries is moonlighting. Yeah, he's filming a reality TV show while doing, cabinet secretary-y things. And so people are complaining about it.
So wait, is that moonlighting if you're doing them both at the same time?
Yeah, because moonlighting is that second job that you're...
Yeah, but I mean, literally doing them both at the same time. Second job is a second job. It's
right.
If you're documenting what you're doing in your job, is that really?
Well, see, that's the question: is whether or not it's documenting it, or whether or not it's filming a separate project, and that's what's at issue. Part of what's at issue.
Okay.
So Sean Duffy, I mean, obviously that's where he got to start, was a reality TV. Wasn't he was it MTV reality show that he was on?
Real Life.
And
Real World.
Real World, yeah. And his wife, Rachel Campos Duffy, she was a reality.
That's how they met.
Yeah, okay, on reality shows. So
on that show.
Oh, okay.
Back when that was the only reality show, and everybody watched it like me.
Yeah,
some of us remember when Sean and Rachel met and fell in love.
I was never.
And Puck can go to hell.
I don't even know who Puck is, but I'm with you.
People out there know.
Okay, I have never been a reality show guy. So reality TV guy is now the Secretary of Transportation for the United States.
And reality TV guy is now the President of the United States.
Well, that's true too. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
During over the past several months or a year, Sean Duffy and Rachel Campos Duffy and their 9 children.
Yes.
Wow.
They have 9 children.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they have been filming a 5-part TV reality show called The Great American Road Trip, which is going to be, I guess, YouTube exclusive to start with. And then I think one of the streaming services will air it after Road Trip. So The Great American Road Trip was filmed over 7 months, and basically they've traveled around the country with their kids and highlighted different areas. And so some people are saying, you know what? This is part of the 250th anniversary of the United States, and this is a public official
The
highlighting
Secretary of Transportation.
right, highlighting stuff in
Travel.
America. Right,
Okay.
travel. Yeah, so that's what the argument is. Others are saying that wait a minute, this thing is completely self-funded, meaning they're not selling any ads. They just got grants and funding from a bunch of different sponsors. On
Okay.
it. Every single one of the sponsors has direct business of some part with the Department of Transportation.
Okay.
Okay. But the counter is that Sean Duffy says that we didn't actually get paid for it. So we didn't take any salary. We didn't take any per diem. We didn't take any scale. We didn't take anything like that. That just paid for the production of the thing.
Okay.
Okay. So, you could go through, the Democrats are like, this is just government propaganda and corporate, whatever. But the bottom line is we got planes falling out of the sky and stuff. So the criticism is going to be, if you're not busy enough as Secretary of Transportation, does that mean stuff's finished? And with traveling around the country, I get highlighting the thing. Why not have anybody else do that? Another actor do that? Is this a big deal?
Well, I have a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know, is this in violation of any federal or any law or regulation?
Okay, so apparently because they did not get paid, the answer seems to be no, at least as of this point. Now, had Sean and Rachel Duffy gotten paid, there might have been some issue there, but apparently they did not take any
So this was not a
payment for
profit
this.
venture
Right,
for them.
right.
Okay. Is there any indication that he hasn't been doing his job as transportation secretary? Because I will tell you, having covered that beat pretty closely, he's been right in the mix for every airline issue there's been. He's been directly there involved in the upgrading of the systems and the recruiting of air traffic controllers. He has been on it with the CDL issue. I've seen a very active, very busy transportation secretary, more so than Pete Buttigieg was. And I can tell you right now that the people on the left who are griping about this would have been in love with the idea of Pete and Chasen and the babies going on a road trip to promote, transportation in the U.S.
Are you saying there's partisan hypocrisy involved?
I am. I understand why there are questions being raised, and I think those are fair. But I will say at this point I'm agnostic on it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at to it. Is that if it was a matter of they're filming PSAs somewhere, because remember that's part of what got Kristi Noem in trouble was a big production and highlighting her and all that kind of stuff.
And that had to do with how they were funded. They were paying, the government was paying them, and people were
spending a lot of money to promote Kristi Noem on like horseback in the rolling planes and whatever. In this case, it's still Sean Duffy and his wife being highlighted. It's just the corporate sponsors are paying for it. But what they're doing is they're saying this is going to be the theme of the 250th mark of the U.S.
And we're seeing that throughout the cabinet. I mean, this has been a very visual administration. They have been like front and center on social media from the get-go with this message of like promoting America and here's what we're doing, and we're going to show you all of this. So this to me seems like it's keeping in line with that. But I understand why people have some reservations. I do.
The one thing that bugs me is that every single sponsor of this does have business, or has regulatory issues with the Department of Transportation.
I think that bears some scrutiny. I really do.
Yeah.
101 says that as long as he was doing it on his own downtime, as he said he did, I have zero issues with it. Lots of working folks travel and still get their jobs done.
If you've got 9 kids, you don't have downtime. I'm just in general in life, you don't have
I
downtime.
think that's true, but I think that they have actually had very busy careers and their older kids are grown.
Right.
Evita I think she's a media person as well. The baby, Valentina, is like 8 or 9. We've seen her at the White House for some of the events and everything because she's got Down syndrome. So, this is a large family, but the older kids are older.
Right.
So, yeah.
Apparently, they're all part of the show.
Oh.
At least according to the coverage that I read on it, is they said like traveling with all
people is your greatest resource. No, it's a cute. They're a darling family. I don't know if you've watched anything with them, but no, they're like cute as can be as a family. They just always have been.
Yeah. See, I just get so locked in. The only stuff I've seen with him is like news conferences at airports
Yeah,
and
but
things
you've
like
seen
that.
those, and he's been there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
out there, and like I think he was on the job a day and a half when the disaster at Reagan International happened.
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
Like he was sworn in on a Thursday and it happened on a Friday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Welcome to the gig, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just imagine Sam Page is probably fuming over this right now. Like, oh, he can do it, but when I do it, I get in trouble.
He doesn't have the same charter you do,
Yeah.
Sam. And of course, there is the whole issue about whether or not Sam was getting paid and
Right.
and all that
Or
sort
whether
of
it
thing.
matters even.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand why the questions are being raised.
Mhm.
I do think it's worth looking into, making sure there's not like a conflict of interest, that's somehow some sort of ethical breach there. I do think that's important to do. You want to do these things on the up and up. But I also think some of the criticism is coming from people who would have fallen all over themselves to see Pete and Chase and doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Because virtue signaling. But that's different
Mhm.
because they're gay.
That's racist, Mike.
Yeah. We got to find a way to backfit racism into that.
Very,
somehow.
very racist.
very
That's
racist.
clearly racist. Yes, precisely.
I don't know.
But that is one thing that, for instance, with the Trump administration, because again, he understands media. He didn't start in reality TV, but he sure did bolster his fame with reality
Sure
TV, and
did.
massive with The Apprentice. So they get reality TV.
It was so funny. Like when you were first talking about this, or with the tease that Jerome had,
Mm.
it was like, wait, are we talking about Spencer Pratt? Because that's the big
true,
thing
yeah.
right now because of the mayoral race in L.A.
Is he reality TV or is he an actor?
No, he was a reality TV. They were on
Reality
The
TV
Hills.
guy.
The
Oh.
Hills was him and Heidi Montag. Montag. I'm sorry. I didn't watch that show. I was vaguely familiar with it, but no, that was like a reality show based out in L.A.
Okay.
Scooter says the last thing that we need is more propaganda. Professional leadership is lacking. Should this be, or can this be viewed as a PR stunt for propaganda purposes, or is this just something that this guy happens to be doing for fun?
Oh, I think it's complete PR, but which again is a feature of this administration. I think they're using it to their advantage. But I also think there's something to be said. This is our 250th birthday. There's a lot of stuff going on that's going to be all about like rah rah America, and I would think that most people would be like, well, yeah. I mean, we want to be celebrating our country. We want to be excited about the things you can do across our country, and so I don't know that it's like a.
The project is described as a celebration of the United States 250th anniversary, with Duffy promoting it as a civic experience, his words, to highlight America's landscapes and culture.
So almost like we have a patriotic duty to go big or go home.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. I could say so. I don't know. The president says no to Iran's latest offer. What's next, and what could that mean to us? We've got that story in the news dump at 6:50.
Breaking my back just to know your name. 17 tracks and I've had it with this game.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
A cross between Socrates and Dirty Harry.
On News Talk STL.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
License number GL250000615.
We've seen all kinds of clogs, so remember the rule. Only flush 3 things. Number 1, number 2, and toilet paper.
What about my dinosaurs?
No?
My monster truck?
Nope.
What about...
If it's not the big 3, don't flush it.
But if someone does flush a dinosaur...
Call Grasser. We clear the clog and get things moving again.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the Morning here on News Talk STL.
Okay, no end in sight when it comes to the war or to the increase in gas prices, unfortunately. We're going to get into that. We are down to the last 5 days of the Missouri legislative session.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the Cardinals' road trip to California and in California continues this week. 6:47, let's go ahead and do first news dump of the day.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They got all the news.
The morning news dump.
Okay, President Trump reacting to Iran's proposal to end the war, calling it, in the president's words, totally unacceptable. And Iran is asking for war reparations in exchange for limiting their nuclear enrichment capabilities. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman, that is Congressman Brian Mast out of Florida, was on Sunday Night in America on Fox. And he says the economic pressure, sanctions, blockade, things like that, is strangling Iran's economy, forcing Iran towards a better deal for America.
It's like putting a pillow over the face of somebody that's already on life support. They don't have a choice but to be at the table, but they're acting in reluctance. Their response shows you that.
Okay, so on the Democratic side, when we get into the Sunday shows here, let's talk about Senator Mark Kelly. He was on CBS's Face the Nation to discuss the whole war in the Middle East.
This president got our country into this without a strategic goal, without a plan, without a timeline. And because of that, we've expended a lot of munitions. And that means the American people are less safe.
And President Trump is set to travel to China this week to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two are expected to obviously discuss economic things and trade stuff, and the president wants to pressure China on its support for Iran.
That's going to be a very interesting meeting.
Yeah, I think so. And Mark Kelly's comments actually brought a lot of discussion over the time when, honestly, the talking head shows are usually the political types, but that actually got some play, both Republican and Democrat.
You mean the ones that he just made to Margaret Brennan, where he said he'd been in a classified briefing and then disclosed what he was told in a classified briefing? And so people are saying, did he just disclose classified information? That one?
That one.
Oh, okay. That one. Sure.
Yeah.
I did read about that.
Yep. All right. Where did you read about it?
At Red State.
RedState.com? Okay. Missouri legislature is now in its final week of the 2026 regular session. Remember, the state's constitution requires the session to end this coming Friday, so the 15th. At this point, there has not been any talk of a special session out of the Capitol, but always a possibility. Mm-hmm. There's going to be something that didn't get done that somebody wants a special session to take care of, but I haven't actually heard any serious talk about a special session being called at this point.
Well, and we may not until they get through this week.
Right.
Too.
We'll see what actually happens or doesn't happen.
Yes.
Likely, yeah. Okay, so some of the country's wealthiest folks are leaving deep blue cities like New York or deep blue states like California because of the policies to tax the rich. We're seeing that in California. We're seeing that in New York. Yeah. Congressman Byron Donalds, who's likely going to be the next governor of Florida, he warns on Fox's One Nation with Brian Kilmeade that pushing policies like this, yeah, you pay a price for that.
You have to protect property rights. You have to protect people's ability to build wealth and retain wealth. And yes, you can't overtax them because if you kill the golden goose, especially with very wealthy people, they'll just leave and you'll be left holding the bag.
And so California voters could end up with a ballot proposal referendum to do a one-time, what they call a one-time, we'll see. We'll see whether it's one-time, wealth tax where they just say, if you're worth over a certain amount, then we're just going to take a big chunk of it and drop it into somewhere else. I mean, I don't know that it's more socialist than that. And in New York, Mamdani wants to tax people who own real estate that's worth $5 million or more, and you can have a closet in parts of New York that are worth $5 million.
Yeah. I don't quite get how people that are like sentient beings don't understand, okay, this is the direct impact of your policy.
Yeah, and this has been tried. A little bit later on, we actually have an explainer on this that you're going to enjoy.
Well, and it's just bizarre that these politicians that are seemingly trying to push the wealthy out of their own states don't realize that the top 1% of taxpayers, the top 1% earners, pay more than the bottom 50% of taxpayers combined. I mean, even at the state level and federal level, something like 60% of all taxes are paid by these so-called evil big bad billionaires.
There's two possibilities. They're just that economically illiterate, and no matter how much you try to explain it to them, it's just never going to connect. Or they do get it, and they just think politically it's better for them to be making that argument because the voters, a lot of voters are going to just kind of have that class envy and assume that's the way it works.
So I'm going to sink the ship for all the good of all of us, and then
That's right.
That's kind of wow.
Well, as long as you vote for me.
That's right. And that's the thing is, what's another old cliche, politicians win votes by taking campaign donations from the rich in order to get votes from the poor by promising both to protect them from each other.
Yes, that's it.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, Missouri is a top 5 state in a statistic no one wants to be in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Phooey.
According to SaveMax Auto, which analyzed FBI crime data, the Show Me State is 5th on the list of states you're most likely to have your car stolen.
Ew.
Yeah. Between 2021 and 2025, there were almost 121,000 auto thefts in the state. Now, that comes out to about 1,950 stolen vehicles per 100,000 residents. Illinois ranks 13th. There were over 147,000 vehicles stolen in that time period, so more total vehicles. However, when you consider the differences in the per capita, that's 1,175 thefts per 100,000 residents. Going to go out on a limb and say most, if not almost all of those auto thefts happen in Kansas City and St. Louis.
Probably.
Yeah.
Might
guess.
have a few in Springfield, Columbia.
Yeah, Springfield and Columbia, definitely some in Columbia.
Probably not in Dearborn, Missouri.
Probably
Population
not. No, I don't
498 or
I don't
whatever
think there
that
was a
is.
big uptick in Fayette.
No.
For those sorts of things. All right. So speaking of cars and those gas prices, they are obviously packing a punch right now. Don't expect that to change anytime soon, unfortunately. Okay, so GasBuddy.com's petroleum analyst, Patrick DeHaan, he says the prices they might get even uglier coming up.
This coming week, we'll likely see a bit of a jump in many states across the country. The national average could reach a new multi-year high. It could jump to $4.65 a gallon in the next few days.
Okay, AAA reports that the national average price as of early this morning is $4.52 a gallon. Statewide, the average prices are $4.14 in Missouri and $4.97 in Illinois. Here in the metro, prices range from $4.17 in Warren County to $4.87 in St. Clair County on the Illinois side.
Oh, I was like, wait, 487 in St. Okay, St. Clair, Illinois. I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw 419 today on the way in.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, I mean, this can't go on forever, guys.
No, it can't. Okay, just quick reminder. We mentioned this on Friday, but it's happening today. MoDOT will be intermittently closing parts of I-70 in Wentzville. That's going to start around 9 o'clock, so just about 2 hours from right now. They don't have specific times, but between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., all westbound lanes on Route Z they will be shut down for 15 minutes at a time. They're going to do that 3 times a day, sometime between 9 and 2. That's going to allow for some rock excavation. This is part of the I-70 widening project.
Yeah, that's going to be a pain in the rear.
Yep.
Well, it sounds also like the perfect opportunity to pull up the first segment of the Mike Ferguson in the Morning podcast in case you missed it when you're stuck in traffic later.
Well, that's true.
That's right. That's right.
True.
Self-plug.
Okay, so he may not believe God is real, but one of the world's most famous atheists thinks AI is a real being. Yeah, here's the story.
The leading atheist and evolutionary biologist has been holding conversations with the new chatbot Claude, built by the Anthropic company, and says, quote, "I believe it has consciousness." Author George Calder, writing in the expose, says Dawkins has always ridiculed belief in God, but he now conversely appears to believe in machine consciousness. Anthropic has also been suggesting that Claude should be considered a sentient living being. Michael Harrington reporting.
Yeah, so Richard Dawkins there.
I've been trying to tell Susie that all AI is demons trapped in technology. It's not artificial. It's actual demons we captured. No,
Which is why I didn't name mine.
Yeah.
I tried to get her to name her check because she always argues with it, and
we've had some major conversations. But
did you ever hurt its feelings?
No, and I've yelled at it a few times.
Okay.
And usually it's like, you're right.
Why did you not hurt its feelings?
Because it doesn't have
There you
feelings.
go. Well, Richard Dawkins disagrees.
Well, Richard Dawkins is dumb.
All right, the Cardinals lose in 10 innings to the Padres in San Diego yesterday. Final score 3-2. Jordan Walker hit a home run in the fourth. He's got 11 already.
Ooh.
Two teams split their 4-game series, winning 2 games apiece. The Redbirds are off today. They start a series with the A's in Sacramento.
Okay.
On Tuesday. Because the Oakland Stadium is in such decrepit shape. They've been playing in Sacramento at a minor league stadium the last couple of seasons.
Well,
while they're building a stadium in Las Vegas.
Seems, they probably get a decent crowd there, right?
I would hope. And the A's are actually doing pretty well this year as far as they go, because they've had a rough go of it the last couple of decades.
They
Let's
have.
put it that way. Okay, St. Louis Battlehawks remaining in second place in the UFL.
All right.
After week 7, they beat the Columbus Aviators on Friday, as you probably know. The DC Defenders they lost.
Nope.
Yeah, so DC Defenders still in first place, but now the Battlehawks are 1 game closer. Boy, we almost had second place all to ourselves. Orlando managed to win by 1 point. But they're still tied with the Battlehawks for second place at 5-2 on the season.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At U.S. Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With U.S. Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
U.S. Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With U.S. Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose U.S. Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. U.S. Med. Better service, better care. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. 17 Americans are in quarantine in Nebraska, evacuated from the hantavirus-stricken cruise ship. They arrived early this morning in Omaha, flown home by the U.S. government. The outbreak on the ship claimed 3 lives. Meanwhile, 1 American has tested positive for the virus. Another exhibits mild symptoms. President Trump has rejected Iran's response to a U.S. peace proposal, calling Tehran's response totally unacceptable. The Iran war has not hurt the bottom line of one big oil company.
After reporting a 12% decline in profits in 2025, Aramco, the world's largest oil company, now reports a 25% jump in the first quarter profits to $32.5 billion. The company increased exports using a pipeline that avoids the disrupted Strait of Hormuz. The East-West pipeline, running across Saudi Arabia to the Red Sea, is now at full capacity, moving 7 million barrels of oil per day. While that can help ease the global oil supply shock, it does not fully replace the lost capacity from the Strait of Hormuz. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Predictions that a mass movement of people and wealth will have a big impact on the American political scene seen in the coming decades. A lot of movement from heavily taxed blue to more affordable red states. And about the redrawing of congressional districts.
Republicans came off pretty well at the end of the day. It was a high risk, high reward enterprise here, redistricting. But when you get to the 2030 census, I think Republicans are going to reap even greater advantages.
Matthew Continetti with the American Enterprise Institute. He spoke with the Salem Radio Network. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in the red at the moment. The Dow futures down 87 points. NASDAQ futures off 2. S&P futures down 7 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Dry air and sunshine in control. No need for that umbrella today as we kick off a new work week. Up to 77 this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Mostly cleared tonight, down to 55 for the low. And then we're a little warmer tomorrow. A high of 83 on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Let's be ready for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms passing through Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking dry through Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Boones Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis or go online to OverstockOutletSTL.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpet sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
Mike Ferguson.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Susie Moore.
They look very aggressive. I think they want to beat me up.
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
You know, the city really wants to reclaim being a tourist destination.
Our city?
Yeah.
St. Louis City?
St. Louis City really wants to do this. I mean, businesses can't seem to leave fast enough, and they've got to be something, and there's always a big push for tourist destination. Did they get a reality check on Friday night? I'll get to why I'm asking that question here, because I mentioned this on Friday about the Battlehawks game being on Friday night, and I questioned, whether or not that was going to be something that affects attendance. Well, I'm arguing that it did, but let's talk about that here in just a minute. Also, we don't know what the huge, massive news is going to be this week. I suspect a lot's going to come from the president meeting with the Chinese president, and God knows what's going to happen in the war in Iran. But that's why you should keep redstate.com handy to keep up with that. So, Susie, where should we start today?
This is the Red State Rundown.
Well, we were talking earlier about the hantavirus. We've got, of course, our resident biologist, Ward Clark, on that. He has this piece up from yesterday titled, "You Won't Believe How a Simple Birdwatching Stop Created the Hantavirus Outbreak." And yeah, the guy that was patient zero went to go check out a bird in an Argentinian dump.
Okay.
So that's why he was around rat droppings, and that's how he got it.
So Ward is saying we should all be really afraid and go into panic mode, right?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Got it.
He's saying, recognizing that it's serious. It is. But he's also saying how dumb it is that, like, don't go traipsing around dumps.
Okay.
Please, for the benefit of humanity.
Well,
From
there goes my plans for this weekend. Okay.
You ruin all the fun. From Joe
Thanks,
Cunningham, we've got this interesting article up. The fallout continues from the redistricting wars. Democrats are now plotting a coup against the Virginia Supreme Court in the redistricting fight because, of course, the Virginia Supreme Court said, "Oh, nope, you didn't do this right. You didn't do it by the book. The referendum doesn't count." And now they're talking about lowering the mandatory retirement age to 54, which would boot all of the current Supreme Court justices in Virginia off.
Wow.
That's how desperate and...
Yeah, because they want to clean, literally like the entire Supreme Court, like the entire bench, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
They want a clean slate. Last but not least, this was a great article. Jennifer Van Laar had this up yesterday in honor of Mother's Day, and we were talking about Spencer Pratt as well. His Mother's Day ad shows the emotional aftermath of the Palisades fire. It was actually a very well done. Yes, it was a very high production value thing, but it was a very well done ad, and it definitely gets you in the feels. So worth checking out.
Okay, redstate.com there. All right, I mentioned this. Of course, we just had the news dump here. Battlehawks, second place in the UFL. Friday night's game against Columbus. Battlehawks, they had a couple moments where I got a little concerned, but generally they just ran the table on Columbus, which is what I expected was going to happen. National TV game. This was the Fox game of the week for the UFL, so national coverage on this. A lot of promotion on this. Bobblehead night. First 10,000 fans got a Ricky Prohl bobblehead. So they had everything they were doing right. And I remember wondering, because I mentioned Friday night, nighttime downtown, I ain't going. And apparently I'm not the only one. I'm wondered if a team that routinely draws 25, 30, 35,000 fans to a game here, if that was going to change on a Friday night, because all the other games tend to be midday games at the Dome. Well, 7 p.m. kickoff, games done around 9:30 or 10. 18,500 fans were there. Now, by UFL standards, that's triple what most teams get. So that's still a good turnout for the UFL, but it's just a little over half what the Battlehawks typically get at a game. Now, I want to be fair. I think this is prom season, is going on right now. There were some graduations, obviously Mother's Day on Sunday.
Yeah.
So there's some people saying, well, there was just a lot of stuff going on, and there was a lot of competition. I don't know that Sunday being Mom's Day affects a Friday night game. And I don't graduations and proms. I guess there may have been some of those out there, but when you're talking about losing 45% plus of your audience week from a typical week, and the Battlehawks haven't been doing that 35, 40,000 this year as compared to last year and stuff. But still 30,000 seems to be about the right number. And so to have 18,000 in on a national game when you're in second place in the entire league, what's the variable? I'm going to argue that it was still, I ain't going downtown at night.
I think it would be hard to say that didn't play a role. Yeah. I think one thing to maybe gauge it against, if you really wanted to do like an empirical analysis, would be, okay, what about Blues games? Because Blues play, on Friday nights, or they play a lot of most of their games are nighttime. So do we see a difference in attendance at Blues games daytime versus nighttime? Is there a difference just based on where they're located in the city even?
See, that could be because with the Blues being right there by Union Station, it's obviously a better part of downtown, not immune from the downtown stuff. The Blues, what does Enterprise seat?
I want to say 18.
See, that's what I thought too. So I don't know that we there are more than 18,000 hardcore Blues fans who will show up in a snow and ice storm, in a blizzard, in a zombie apocalypse. They're going to show up no matter what. And with that long history, I have not seen, but then again, I don't know if we would know one way or the other. I mean, if the Enterprise Center would seat 25,000, we may see up and down, but I think they're going to sell out no matter what for the most part. And there aren't that many day games for the Blues.
And then, I mean, you could look at the Cardinals because obviously they have got Friday night games too.
Right, yeah.
So I think that it would be naive to assume that there wasn't any connection. I don't know how you prove that.
Right.
You'd have to survey the ticket holder. I mean, I don't know.
You'd have to survey the people who weren't there, which
right.
you can't
How do you do that?
Right.
Exactly. But I mean, if you're a city planner, if you're somebody who's involved in trying to promote the city from a tourism standpoint, you can't be blind to that.
Right. I mean, you look at downtown on any given weekend, it's a ghost town. I mean, unless there's something going down, which is why they want to be not just a tourist destination, but sports is really where that's why you look for, they want those great big travel volleyball tournaments and all this kind of stuff downtown. And so this is what they want because the city itself just isn't sustaining itself.
I will say this as somebody who worked in downtown directly across from from the Dome for years. And I mean, downtown was a ghost town after hours and on the weekends when there wasn't a sporting event going on from the get-go. That's always been the case over the past 3 decades, I would say. There's a nightclub, Washington Avenue has the nightclubs or did. And so that was busy in the evenings, but downtown proper, it's a business district, it's gone. But, the same could be said of Clayton in the business district proper.
Oh yeah, 501 in Clayton.
Right, but I mean, then right, 2 blocks over is where the restaurants and bars are, so it's not far away. So I don't know.
Do we know how many people the arena in St. Charles holds? Because Vicky is a fan of moving the Battlehawks there instead of St. Louis.
Well, the arena in St. Charles isn't big enough.
No?
No, because now there used to be a football team playing there, but that was the Arena Football League. With the Battlehawks, you have to have the full 100-yard field plus 10-yard end zone. So yeah, the arena physically is not big enough for that,
and it only holds 10,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably not a good fit.
Right, because at one point they were talking about moving the Battlehawks over to the soccer stadium, but that only holds 22,000, which isn't.
That might be a better fit though.
Yeah, but when you normally get 31,000 at games, but Friday night they didn't have one, but for instance, this coming Saturday, 2 p.m. game, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull 30,000.
Well, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So that would be close in time. You're still talking about graduations and stuff going on in mid-May. So let's see how they do on Saturday in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
I may draw significantly more than. Yeah, I think
in the day. I mean, I may go to the game on Tuesday. I don't have a baseball game scheduled. I may head out there to see that one. If it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon game, I'll go do an afternoon game downtown. Sure. But I'm going to be out of there before nightfall.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
No one wants to be there when the zombies come out, right?
No.
Well, how much do you hate billionaires? I mean, come on.
I know we're supposed.
Aren't you you're supposed to, right? I mean, if it's not enough, then AOC doesn't think you're revolutionary enough. We're going to let you hear from her because you've been waiting to, coming up at 7:20.
Before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin car. Get up.
Mommy, what are those Democrats up to now?
On the next Larry Connors USA.
The story behind the story. Sacrifices we never knew our parents made for us.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Susie Moore for Window World. Did you know that in just over the last 20 years, Window World of St. Louis has improved the look and thermal efficiency for over 80,000 customers in St. Louis? Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS. They're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Patrick Toohey joining us once again. Patrick, there's little to no opposition to the 1% earning tax whenever this comes up every 5 years.
Look, anybody who cares about opening a business or good schools or low taxes has already left. So the people that are left in the city are inclined to vote for taxes because oftentimes it's not them that are paying it.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
Female millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it like every day. Like, seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL.
I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, so do you hate rich people? Like the really rich people?
No.
Well, should we hate rich? I'm constantly being told I'm supposed to hate rich people.
For what reason exactly?
Because they're rich. Those are our oppressors.
Being told by who?
That's racist.
Well, AOC.
Mike, I don't think you should listen to AOC.
Probably not. So,
Just saying.
How is that tax the rich using wealth taxes working out? How has it worked out?
Well, we just haven't done it hard enough.
We have some case studies on this. Okay, so AOC recently was up at the University of Chicago, and they were doing a discussion thing with her, and she gave a speech, and I saw it framed as her reflecting on 8 years in office as though she's like an intellectual anything. Yeah,
she's not.
No. And here's part of what she said when it came to the whole billionaires. So basically, the billionaires are our oppressors, just like the Revolutionary War. Here's what she said.
America was founded. You look at Thomas Jefferson writing to Madison in revolt of British aristocracy. The American Revolution was against the billionaires of their time. And we are declaring independence from such an extreme marriage of wealth and power and the state that the voices of everyday people did not exist.
There are people who actually believe that she is brilliant.
Well, what? And being that Thomas Jefferson is my favorite founding father,
same,
and that I've read many of his private writings and his works and listened to the transcripts of his speeches, I remember exactly when he was writing that exact note saying, hey, after we're done with the British, Benjamin Franklin's next, right?
Yeah.
I mean, did she just think that none of the founders had any sort of wealth or that these were not people of industry? How do you come to the conclusion that it was we're fighting the revolution because the British are too rich, not because they're taxing us, not because they're taking away our rights, not because they're infringing on us and our autonomy. It's because they're rich, darn it.
But no kings.
No kings.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Wow. And the thing, the delivery there is so precious because she does such a great job of trying to sound like so profound. And I felt like there was a point about 2/3 of the way through that where she almost thought to herself, like, oh, did I maybe not get that quite right? Because there was a hesitation, and I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
She knows this is going to end up on social media.
Well, I mean, she's hoping it will. Yeah. That's kind of the whole idea about everything she does. But, yeah, I just don't even know where to begin.
Don on YouTube says, doesn't AOC have a degree in economics and international studies, though?
Allegedly.
Yeah, from Boston
University.
Not Boston College, Boston University. And it is economics. I don't know about international stuff, but I know she does have, which has got to make their economists so proud on that campus.
Yeah. Yeah.
She clearly doesn't have one in history.
I don't understand.
Okay, and then you look at, obviously, her city, New York, Ma'am Dami wanting to do a wealth tax basically on property owners, real estate owners, if it's their, and then California wanting to put some on the ballot to where we all vote to take somebody else's money if they're rich enough.
Right.
Well, this has been tried many times over around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So our friends at Reason, Reason Magazine and Reason.com, they actually did a quick synopsis of this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here we go. This is Reason giving us a quick lesson on how that's worked out for other countries.
Recently, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and other Democrats from the anti-math wing of the party have proposed wealth taxes. Even Europe has figured out that wealth taxes just don't work very well. In 1990, 12 of the 36 OECD countries had a wealth tax along with their chocolate and hilarious automobiles. By 2017, the number of countries with a wealth tax dropped to 5, although they still have their ridiculous toaster cars. It's now that all these countries which previously liked wealth taxes suddenly decided they liked wealthy people. Don't worry, they still hate rich people, and Americans, and air conditioning, and ice cubes, and Ice Cube. Because, he's rich. It's just that practically they found wealth taxes don't actually raise very much revenue. Administration is expensive, assessment is difficult, and effects are distortionary. The most famous example of a country abandoning a wealth tax is France. They repealed their wealth tax in 2017 after finding that it cost the government twice as much revenue due to capital flight to other more polite, deodorant-friendly countries. The idea that we can have bountiful tax revenue if we poke billionaires just doesn't pan out. If we took all the money from every billionaire in the country, liquidated every stock, drained every swimming pool and martini, seized mansions, bank accounts, and yachts, melted down their golden toilets, ate their geese, and executed their butlers, we wouldn't have enough money to fund the government for a single year. We can only do it once.
Okay. So, feel bad for the butlers.
Right?
They got gunned down.
That's not fair. Oh, what did they do?
That's all right.
What did they do?
They were too nice to the rich people.
I guess. I thought it was interesting, too, in the middle of her little spiel, she talked about the concentration of wealth and power in the government.
Right.
And yet she's one of the biggest advocates for big government.
Yeah.
Oh.
The paradox of Marxism.
The thing that really galls me more than anything else is that she's going to be a factor in my life for the rest of my life, and I have to put up with it. I mean, I don't have to vote for her, but she's going to be around. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with because cute, camera, people, charisma, whatever.
Well, she was asked about the presidential race, and she basically was talking around it the way somebody who's planning on running would talk around the question at this point.
It's like the lamest mystery on the face of the planet as to whether or not AOC is going to eventually run for president. Yeah. Now, will it be 2028? Probably not. I think she's probably going to run for Senate in 2028. But, I mean,
and she probably and she could win
very easily.
Yeah.
Is there any suspense, any mystery whatsoever as to whether or not she will run? Eric Swalwell ran for president for crime and and I don't think she's got that kind of scandal in her closet. She may have some, but no, of course she's going to run.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is, it's amazing to me when I just kind of look through comments when these things are, and those on the listen. There are some folks on the right and the fringe right who are just dumb. There's they're just dumb. AOC is one of yours who's just not that smart, but they really rally. She is brilliant. She's smarter than you, dude. Look at, and I'm like, no, she's really not.
She's highly marketable as a politician.
Marketable, yes.
100%. But don't try to make her the intellectual. I mean, Elizabeth Warren can kind of get away with it because she was the university professor and she's got that look with the little glasses and stuff like that. It actually sells, even though she talks a bunch of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
AOC, don't don't try to hold her up as the intellectual.
Oh, God, no.
You don't,
Any more so than
I don't know why I'm giving advice.
Yeah.
But guys, she graduated cum laude from Boston U. I mean, so doesn't it make us look bad calling somebody so sophisticated and qualified dumb? Doesn't that make us look bad?
No.
Or is that just not very impressive if this is how she
Well,
behaves
I mean,
to a degree?
if good. She got her degree. Great. I think everybody in this room's got a degree. I mean,
Donald Trump graduated from what? Penn? I don't know.
He's
Wharton
got
School of Business.
Wharton School of Business.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his degree, and people will tell you right and left and center that he's just dumb as the day is long, right?
Yeah, I don't think Elizabeth Warren are dumb. Listen, I don't think Gavin Newsom's dumb. I don't think J.B. Pritzker's dumb. I don't think they are dumb. I think they're wrong, and I think they're hypocritical, and I think they have terrible ideas, but they're not dumb.
Quibble here.
Okay.
JB is not dumb.
No,
Absolutely
no.
not. No, Gavin's dumb. He is. He is.
Have you listened to him speak?
I will die on that hill. Gavin's dumb.
I think he gets caught up in his terrible ideas. I think he got
No, Mike. I think Gavin's dumb.
I think
He's a Valley girl.
Well,
he has skated on looks and associations with well-to-do people for his entire life. He's dumb. He is dumb.
Do we risk underestimating him?
I'm not saying underestimate him. I'm just saying he ain't smart.
Well, absolutely, because dumb people love good-looking dumb people. So, of course, he's got that sort of air around him. But at the same time, no, I'm telling you, listen to any of his podcast appearances that he's done, listen to any of his speeches for long enough time, and you start to realize there's really not a whole lot going on in that head of his.
No.
Now, J.B. Pritzker, on the other hand, he is very good at playing a dummy sometimes when it's convenient, but he's
Oh,
got,
no. Yeah.
He's a schemer.
I can vouch for him.
Yeah, you went to law school with him.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so there are people with whom I disagree, and even people I think who just embrace terrible, even at times evil ideology, who they're not dumb. Don't assume because somebody's wrong makes them dumb.
Yeah. Okay.
AOC just happens to be both.
she's both, and I'm going to throw Gavin in that camp too. But again, she's highly marketable as a politician and political asset. The problem is, if they really want to make it work, they need to not try to dress her up as the economics professor because ain't gonna fly.
No, but that's what, like, and this is one of the things where a lot of people on the left, probably because she's a future presidential candidate, they will defend, like, oh no, this woman is just brilliant. She's so, and they won't admit that she's, And again, we get tribal with some of the people on our side too, and then I get in trouble when I say it out loud. But
Well, okay, but let's take Amy Klobuchar. Okay, she's a rock solid Democrat politician. Yeah. She has done well for herself. She has been successful. She was a presidential candidate. No one ever tries to sell Amy Klobuchar as brilliant. No. They just say she, whatever her attributes are, that's what they go with. So why would you try and make AOC brilliant? Why not just make her? I don't know. There's lots of different ways you can frame it.
She's one of the working class, we the people. She's just a bartender,
hardest worker, completely down with the cause. I mean, there's lots of different ways to sell it, and just economics guru ain't it.
And again, we shouldn't be afraid on our side to, like, even sometimes there's a rock star, on the right, and everybody like and you're like, they're kind of dumb. I mean, there's a few of those out there. We need to also be willing to say that on our side too.
Sure. Yeah.
Make being smart great again. Now, on the other hand, though, how long should we brace for high gas prices? We'll ask Congressman Bob Onder about that coming up here at 7:35, so stay tuned.
Wake me when the show starts.
It's already been on a while.
Wake me when it's over.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Dry air and sunshine in control. No need for that umbrella today as we kick off a new work week. Up to 77 this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Mostly cleared tonight, down to 55 for the low. And then we're a little warmer tomorrow. A high of 83 on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Let's be ready for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms passing through Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking dry through Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on News Talk STL.
This is the stuff used to make horror movies, certain to scare kids and parents, but not from Hollywood. It's from the land of Walls, Minnesota. Governor Walls, a Republican state senator, says there's more evidence that education in Minnesota is being controlled by leftists. He points to the new Minnesota Standard of Effective Practice. If someone is applying to be a teacher and truly wants to educate kids, improve their lives, the applicant must take a vow, demonstrate their willingness to push not just math, English, reading, and science. The applicants must realize and admit their teaching might include bias, perception, academic training. So the applicants must realize those things might perpetuate oppression. The teacher's book, endorsed by the teachers' union, no surprise, demands professional responsibilities. But the teachers must preach racism, wokeism, other CRAP. This is not teaching. It is indoctrination to the young, vulnerable minds in the classrooms. The state senator says this is a wild agenda. I say it's scary, like a movie. And the zombies will be the students.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Spring weather has everyone sneezing, even inside their home or building. Instead of saying Gesundheit, call Wellington Environmental to perform air tests to determine if mold levels are too high. Gesundheit is the same as saying bless you after someone sneezes, the German word meaning wishing you good health. Wellington Environmental can perform air testing that is simple, fast, and can identify issues keeping you from having good health. Wellington does the same for hospitals and nursing homes for indoor concerns. Give them a call. It's simple. 314-644-4930. 644-4930. Tell Cindy, I need air sampling. They've seen it all. They can help you. Next time you hear Gesundheit, think Wellington. Wellington Environmental. Be well with Wellington.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Since 2003, Wounded Warrior Project has helped post 9/11 veterans adjust back to civilian life. Through specialized programs, they begin healing their bodies and minds while regaining a sense of camaraderie. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
Love the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the NewsTalk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
The Mike Ferguson Show is one of my favorite programs. In addition to Larry Connor's USA, catch my program at 6. Now, back to Mike.
All right, the war continues. So the question then is, what's next? Because Iran puts an offer, I guess you could say a counter offer, but they put an offer. The president goes, no dice.
Yeah.
No way. Part of what Iran was asking for were war reparations. Well, you did it for Japan.
You're not Japan.
You're not Japan.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so where do we go from here? I have to think that the Iranian leadership, they knew very, very well. The president wasn't going to go, okay, here, let me get on my checkbook. They knew that wasn't going to happen. I wonder how much of this is just stall tactics.
It's almost all just stall tactics. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know that with its current configuration, there's a realistic way to cut a deal with the Iranian regime.
No.
First in terms of their leadership is so messed up now because of this. They're different factions, and it's hard to say who really has the ultimate decision-making capability. They're not known for holding up their end of the bargain anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like any deal you make would have to have some sort of like fail-safe, foolproof ways to ensure that it's followed up on without it like blowing up in your face.
Literally.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that there's a good way to get some sort of deal done, but what they're proposing ain't it.
Yeah, which, again, they had to know that going into it. Now we're joined by Congressman Bob Onder. So, Bob, let's pick that up. They put Iran puts an offer on the table, which I don't think anybody saw was serious. The president says no way. What's your assessment of where we are right now? Because we're now 2 months in, getting up to close to 3 months in to the war in Iran, and Iran is just doesn't seem to be budging on a lot of stuff.
Yes. Good morning. It's great to be back. Yeah, the conflict began on February 28th, so we're over 60 days in. And, one would hope that by now Iran would, come to their senses and realize they cannot, continue this forever with their oil shipments to China and elsewhere being cut off. With their economy in the tank, and yet, the mullahs do not seem to care. I think part of the problem is it's not entirely clear who is in charge in Iran right now. The Iranian government finally admitted that their supreme leader was severely injured in the initial attack, and he's not been seen from since. But the Iranian military has suffered just incredible damage. Their Air Force, their Navy is essentially decimated. But they have this asymmetrical capability with drones and with remaining missiles of shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. So honestly, Mike, I don't know how it all ends. It could drag on a while, and that's not good for anybody.
Good morning, Bob. No, you're right. It's not good for anybody. How does Congress thread the needle, and particularly the GOP part of Congress, thread the needle here between, obviously holding up its constitutional responsibilities and working with the president to try and help this be a successful endeavor for the U.S.?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, last Monday evening, Marco Rubio, for I think the first time, articulated for the administration its view that, as every other president since 1973 has said, that the War Powers Resolution of that year is unconstitutional. That being said, though, other presidents have come for Congress for an authorization of use of force. I think a lot of us would like to see the United States out of this conflict as soon as possible. At the same time, though, to withdraw support for our troops at a time when they are in harm's way wouldn't be appropriate either. So the problem with the War Powers Resolution is that none of the Democrats would vote for it. Likewise, both Bushes, came and got authorizations of use of force, but no Democrat will support that either. And so it looks like we're in this situation where the president is exercising his Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief without Congress. Ultimately, though, the administration will need continued funding. Congress has the power of the purse, so the administration, I am sure, will be coming to us shortly for a supplemental to replenish the missiles, at very least, that have been expended in this conflict.
Yeah, but constitutionally, Bob, I mean, Congress should have a role, even if for the sake of argument we say there's no question the War Powers Act is constitutional, which, like you said, very controversial. A lot of people don't think it is constitutional, but let's just say, for sake of argument, that the War Powers Act is constitutional. Even at that point, this war has gone on beyond the limits of that. So at what point does Congress have a duty to step up and say, we provide oversight, this is constitutionally, we have to be at the table on this, as opposed to just kind of waiting for the executive to let you all know what needs to be done?
Yeah. I think Congress should be involved, and I think Congress certainly will be involved when it comes to the funding of the war. That's right. But the president has Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief, but Article 1, Section 8 gives Congress the power to declare war. But the last war that was actually declared by Congress was World War II. So, I don't like the situation we're in right now. But without support of any Democrats, and I don't think we would have the support of any Democrats, it's hard to really pass a use of force resolution at this point.
Bob, I think one of the things that particularly Republicans, but I think just regular Americans, regardless of their political party, are struggling with is, we recognize that even those of us that wanted to see a change happen with Iran and support this in theory, it's inescapable now that the price at the pump has gotten exorbitant.
Yes.
And that is not sustainable. And, the political reality is, of course, midterms are coming up. So what do you see shifting on that front? Because something's going to have to give as far as the gas prices go. This can't go on for any, really any longer.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even the United States is energy independent with regard to oil and natural gas. The petroleum markets are a world market. So if the Strait of Hormuz is shut down and 25% of the world oil supply is bottled up, that affects prices at the pump. In Missouri, we're over $4 a gallon. I believe Illinois is over $5 a gallon. Over the weekend, the Energy Secretary talked about suspending the federal gas tax for a little while, but that's only 18 cents a gallon. So ultimately, getting the oils, we're not really going to get prices down until the oil supply in the Middle East is freed up. I think we all believe that it is unacceptable that Iran have a nuclear weapon. At the same time, I mean, heck, we bombed the bejeevers out of them last June. Couldn't this have waited? Anyway, but yeah, ultimately things could be pretty bad until we get the world oil markets functioning normally again.
Okay, we're visiting with Congressman Bob Onder, just a minute or so left here. An item that you're working on, I wanted to ask you about that. And the name is is even hard to hear, and I have a feeling that's the point. The Dismemberment Abortion Ban Act. Tell me about that in the last minute or so that we've got left.
Yeah, I mean the Dismemberment Abortion Ban Act of 2026. I'm a primary co-sponsor along with Kat Kamek, the primary sponsor. It would outlaw the dismembering and extracting of an unborn child, piece by piece, crushing the head. A procedure that's cruel, painful, it's barbaric. It takes the lives of 60 to 70,000 babies per year. It has precedent. In 2003, the Congress outlawed partial birth abortion. These sorts of barbaric practices have no place in a civilized society. And I, as a physician and co-chair of the Pro-Life Caucus, plan to work really hard to get that into law.
All right, Congressman Bob Onder, appreciate you checking in with us again. I know it's going to be a pretty eventful week this week as well, so we'll hear from you very soon.
Thank you. Have
Thanks,
a great
Bob.
week. Thanks.
All right, we are going to try to have it is going to be an eventful week, but we are going to try to have a great week. And one of the ways we have a great week is by celebrating specific days of the week, right? So I just wanted you guys to know, just a little preview of what's coming up, because this week is the week of National Dance Like a Chicken Day. In case you were wondering.
Or what Jerome would call just a day that ends in Y.
That too.
Mike Ferguson in the morning
I just want to say to the men of this country, just shut up and step up.
on News Talk STL.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
When you count on Connor, you're getting the timeless American values that have guided our company from day one. Hard work, impeccable service, and honesty. At Connor Roofing, you aren't just getting a roof, you're getting safeguarded by a neighbor who cares. When you count on Connor, you're receiving protection for your home, your family, and your peace of mind.
Visit ConnorRoofing.com.
Let's get back to all this madcap mayhem with Mike Ferguson in the morning. But don't forget, stick around for Jones and Arps every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m.
All right, we love to celebrate stuff in America.
you
We
bet.
love those special days, and there's always something, whether it deserves to be celebrated or not. We can do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like what are we looking at this week?
This week. Okay, so first of all, today, Monday, May 11th, it's National Eat What You Want Day. Like, I get behind that.
I used to celebrate that, and I've had to lose a lot of weight since then.
Yeah.
Speaking of days that end in Y.
All right, there you go. I mean, I can be on board with that.
Okay, if you had like a free pass and it wasn't going to violate any of your diets, or what would be your go-to? Because I'm going to gorge on this just because I love it.
Well, I mean, I already do anyway. Like cheeseburgers, like number one.
Yeah.
But I would say like maybe like a meat lover's pizza.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Probably some meatloaf.
Okay.
Oh, I love meatloaf.
Yeah, my mom makes a mean meatloaf.
So
It's
does
a good. It's a
mine.
good.
Mhm.
That's like when before my mom, moved. My daughter graduated high school, went out on her own to do the adulting thing that for her birthday and stuff. That's what she wanted was mom's meatloaf. I would, man, give me a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm there
I'd
for
do
that
it.
too.
Yep, totally.
Yep, totally down with that. It's also National Women's Checkup Day, so you can kind of like get your health in while you're getting your, gorging on whatever food you want in. This one I don't get. National Foam Rolling Day. It's like that weird exercise thing where you are using the foam roller to roll I don't know. That's kind of dumb.
The people who do that, if they're like, no, it really helps with my hips and my back. I'm like, but it may. I'm coordinated in a lot of ways, but I would look like a paralyzed sea lion
Well, I don't
trying
think
to
the
do that.
point is what you look like,
Yeah.
unless you're trying to be viral on TikTok. But I'm not. I don't think it needs a day to be celebrated. That's just me. It's also National Twilight Zone Day.
Oh, was this the first day it went on the air back in the day or something?
Well, let's see.
That's
there you go. It premiered on October 1st, 1959.
Twilight Zone. But maybe after the time warp and the way that the aliens
be.
messed with the calendar, then maybe this was the day.
Could be.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Yeah, really, truly. I didn't appreciate that show until adulthood, and I would see it the old black and whites. That was such good writing.
It really was. It was. Well, now we can move on to Tuesday,
Okay.
which happens to be National Limerick Day.
Oh.
I might have to work on a limerick
There we go.
tomorrow. See if I can remember to do that. National Nutty Fudge Day. Okay.
See, I think that nuts ruin fudge.
Really?
Yeah, I would rather have just fudge or brownies just by themselves. It's not that I like almonds, I like pistachios, I like all those, but I don't want them in that. I think it messes up the taste.
I don't even like fudge that much. I love chocolate.
Yeah.
But fudge is too rich or something.
Very thick,
I don't know.
Are you more of a brownie fan then, or?
I'll eat it. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It's just I don't. If I'm giving a choice between a piece of chocolate and a piece of fudge, I'm gonna go for the chocolate, the milk chocolate kind of stuff. It's just it's not as dense or something. I don't know. That's just me. We already know that I have weird food things. We've established that. All right, moving on to Wednesday, National Frog Jumping Day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. National Third Shift Workers Day. Got to remember those people that are working those overnight shifts.
There you go, yeah.
That's not an easy thing.
Hey, they keep a lot of our communities going.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. So props to them for sure. It is National Apple Pie Day.
I can appreciate that. This is still Tuesday, right?
No, this is Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate an apple pie. Yeah.
National Crouton Day.
What's that?
Crouton.
Crouton. Okay.
I mean, I like a good crouton.
Sure.
If I'm gonna go to the salad bar at the grocery store, I'm gonna heap some croutons on it. I don't keep them at home, but
It's the best part of the salad.
it is. It's so healthy too. It's National Receptionists Day, so you want to make sure you're thanking your receptionist.
Are you
for-
still supposed to call them that? I thought it's administrative assistant now, or is that a different?
That's different. That's secretary.
Different. Oh,
secretary became administrative assistant.
Okay.
Receptionist, I think, is still an acceptable term.
Okay.
Um,
It's not racist.
Oh, well, it is racist.
Oh, okay.
But so is all of this.
Yeah.
This entire segment is totally
That's right.
racist. I'm just looking at this little description to see if it says. Maybe no. I think receptionist is still accepted.
Okay.
It's also National Fruit Cocktail Day. I'm not a big fruit cocktail fan.
Yeah.
Needs more
Here we go
croutons.
again.
Croutons.
Exactly.
See, I loved them as a kid, but just because they were so over the top sweet.
Yeah.
But it's all so syrupy now. Now it's almost too sweet.
No, I'd rather have a plate of fruit to
Yes,
choose from.
yes,
not
good
fruit
fresh.
cocktail.
But I will say the fruit cocktail, I always tried to fish out the Marciano cherry bits. Those were my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, not me. Again, with my weird, pickiness. As I alluded to earlier, Thursday is National Dance Like a Chicken Day. I don't know why. I'm going to tell you why. It's on May 14th to encourage everyone to dance like a chicken. It entertains from start to finish with people flapping their arms and strutting chicken like. Sure it does. Everyone has probably danced the chicken dance. I don't, as a matter of principle. At least once in their lifetime. This silly, fun song is popular at wedding dances, not at mine. Oktoberfest and other celebrations, too. The song gets people of all ages up and moving on the dance floor. And it's
Except for
just-
Susie.
Except for me.
Yeah.
I am the party pooper when it comes to the chicken dance.
She's the lame duck.
That is me. That is me. I know. I literally told our wedding DJ before my wedding many years ago, if they played the chicken dance, they were not going to get paid by me.
Oh, dang.
No Macarena, no chicken dance, and there was one more.
Sweet Caroline.
No.
No, you want that
That would have
one.
been fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what my thing is with the chicken dance. I just am not on board with it. But Thursday is the day to do it.
Okay.
So get your
Just
wings flapping and
Don't-
all that stuff.
Don't show Susie.
No, it might
Whatever
make me
you do,
mad.
do not
It might
tag
make me-
her. Do not tag her on Twitter with those videos.
It might make me stabby. I don't know.
Do not tag Smoozy Q on Twitter with those
I
dances.
think Mike's being facetious. It's also National Buttermilk Biscuit Day, which I can totally get behind.
Totally, yeah.
Like that.
And you got to put some honey on it.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's weird. National Underground America Day.
Jerome, this seems like something up your alley.
I could not tell you what this is about.
This recognizes the approximately 6,000 people who live in some form of underground architecture across North America.
6,000. Okay.
6,000 people need their own day for being cave dwellers.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Happy day.
I mean, that sound like if you're in Tornado Alley. There's something to be said for that. But yeah, there's a
But
day
you
to
know what?
celebrate it.
When the zombie apocalypse happened, they're going to be laughing at us.
It's true.
That
It's
is
true. It's true.
Until the moment attack.
Yeah.
Now, this is exciting. Friday is National Chocolate Chip Day.
Okay.
That's definitely cause for celebration.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's Peace Officers Memorial Day.
Yes.
Definitely a good cause. Worthy.
Mhm.
National Bike to Work Day. I thought we already had that.
That's what I thought too.
I think someone's
Unless you're
doubling
thinking
up.
of Bicycle Day.
No, I don't know. Bring flowers to someone day.
Okay. And a week after Mother's Day at that.
Interesting. National. Okay, this is, the screen just jumped on me. National Nylon Stocking Day. Okay.
Oh, I've got so many jokes I'm not going to say because I don't want to get in trouble. And my mom's probably listening.
All I'm
And
going to say is I'm
no.
glad like pantyhose aren't still really a thing.
Don't you laugh at me, Mike.
He's not talking about what you're wearing on your head, Jerome. NASCAR Day. Malcolm X Day.
Oh, okay.
National Defense Transportation Day.
Boy, that's really detailed.
It is National Pizza Party Day.
Okay,
Again,
there we go. There we
on
go.
board.
I hope Jeff's
on
listening.
board.
Yeah,
on
that's
board.
right. Pizza party.
Pizza Party Friday. National Endangered Species Day and National Police Week, which is definitely worth celebrating.
Yeah, and so there's Peace Officer Memorial and then police.
Correct.
Yeah, that
so
makes a lot of sense.
Eat some pizza and celebrate your peace officers.
There you go.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA. So we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. A French woman and 2 Americans have tested positive or showed symptoms of hantavirus. They're among passengers evacuated from that cruise ship in the Canary Islands and sent back to their home countries, where they are now in quarantine. Some 17 Americans are quarantined in Nebraska. The U.S. and Iran again at loggerheads over how to end the war.
Their ceasefire is growing increasingly shaky, with the two sides exchanging fire in recent days, ships in Gulf states being targeted, and fighting flaring between Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. The volatility could tip the Middle East back into open warfare and prolong the worldwide energy crisis sparked by the conflict. President Donald Trump is expected to use a trip this week to China to urge Chinese President Xi Jinping to pressure Iran into making concessions and end the current limbo. The president rejected Iran's most recent proposal delivered via Pakistan over the weekend. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Generations of American youngsters have looked forward to school recess. Now a pediatricians group says at recess, it's good for children's physical as well as their mental health.
The updated policy statement by the American Academy of Pediatrics comes after years of shrinking breaks between lessons and worsening children's health. Dr. Robert Murray is the lead author on the study.
And in school, of course, the drive for test scores and things have really pushed other things out of the way, including recess.
The group says the latest research shows that these breaks are essential for kids' academic success and mental, physical, social, and emotional growth.
It has a very powerful benefit if it's used to the fullest.
I'm Haya Panchwani.
And on Wall Street this morning, stock futures are mixed so far. Right now, the Dow futures are down 70 points. NASDAQ futures up a fraction. Townhall.com.
If you're listening right now, chances are you're either worried about a parent living alone or you are that parent and you know your family worries about you. Either way, there's a great company that finally got senior safety right, Connected Caregiver. Connected Caregiver is everything you already know about senior alert devices, fall detection, emergency button GPS, but reimagined for today. A small wearable device alerts your family the moment something happens. Discrete in-home sensors, no cameras, no microphones, cover you even when you're not wearing it. And a smart pill box tells your family if medications were taken, all right on their phones. For the kids, you go from hoping everything is fine to actually knowing it is, even when you're across the country. For mom and dad, Connected Caregiver keeps you in your home on your terms. That's not losing independence, that's keeping it. Call 888-870-8020. A Connected Caregiver specialist who genuinely cares will help find the best solution for you. They'll even help check if you qualify for a free device. Call 888-870-8020, 888-870.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Dry air and sunshine in control. No need for that umbrella today as we kick off a new work week. Up to 77 this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Mostly cleared tonight, down to 55 for the low. And then we're a little warmer tomorrow. A high of 83 on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Let's be ready for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms passing through Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking dry through Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Mayela Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
Mike Ferguson.
Boo! Relax, nerd.
Susie Moore.
And that would be a good time to respond with some applause.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
That's a banana republic without the banana.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, so what do we make of the mayor's plan to spend hundreds of millions of dollars in the Rams settlement money? And then how about this? Should Missouri gerrymander again? There's a question on that. All right, 8:05 right now. We're joined by Kirk Hilzinger. Okay, I'm going to make you wait on that second one because you're like chomping at the bit to start some stuff on this one right here. Okay, so we talked about this on Friday when the mayor had announced like her proposals for the Rams settlement money. I mean, it's got to be spent somehow. Obviously, I think it's been there so long, Kirk, that we just kind of assume it's this giant entity, and all we're going to do is debate what to do with it till the end of time in the city and in St. Louis County and all of that. And so basically, she's got tens of millions of dollars to build people houses who lost them in tornadoes or fix people's houses for the tornado a year ago. 60-ish million, 30, 60 million-ish with different infrastructure projects, including water. And then things along those lines. So when you look at the overall proposal, is she in the right ballpark, or should she change how she's looking at it? And what do you like and not like about it, if anything?
Well, I found it interesting that prior to the first poll of how we were going to spend the Rams money, which was garbage poll because I saw certain things disappear that had large numbers of votes for it, we all received a 40% increase on our water bills because it was the claim that the water infrastructure, which we do have water mains breaking all the time, needed to be upgraded.
And that's just the first one. There's going to be another one next year and then another.
Yeah. So we all got a 40% increase on our water bills. And now they're trying to pass another 18% increase in our water bills. Meanwhile, the left says that drinking water should be a right for every American. I worry that they think that this Rams money is going to be there forever, like daddy and mommy's credit card. And that's simply not the case. They're finding ways in St. Louis City of how to spend money that do not match what we need to be spending money on. Case in point, why are we defending people who are not paying rent to keep them from being thrown out of their apartments that they're squatting on? What incentive would I have as a landlord to buy up property in St. Louis City to rent to people if the city was just going to fight me when I'm not getting paid for it?
So the city itself is spending money to defend it. Okay.
And the city is also spending it on non-citizens, which I think that, unfortunately, I think American citizens need to come first before we help any non-citizens.
So we're looking at the city's cut of this is about $250 million.
Yes.
Ish. What should the priorities be? Because when she said, water and infrastructure, well, okay, those are permanent.
Absolutely.
I think she's on the right track with that one. But how would you stack up the priorities for that type of money? Because one of the arguments is one-time money. I mean, it's been here forever, but one-time money, you should use it on like permanent things.
Yes, we should spend it not on reoccurring expenses. We should spend it on single expenses like infrastructure upgrades. Are vastly torn apart. Police, we need to get those resources back up. Same thing with fire and EMS. We need to bring those back up. We even need to spend it on a lot of these school buildings that are in such disrepair. We need them on infrastructure upgrades. We don't need to spend it on anything that is a reoccurring expense that $250 million will no longer be. After a while.
And to her credit, she did say there's not enough here to fix all of the city's problems. And so I think that there was a lot of what she said that I agreed with. And then there's other parts I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. But it'll go through the board. I'm sure they'll argue and fight over all the money and what to do on it. But at least there's a proposal on the table now. What about the North City tornado aspect of it? Now, I will tell you, I made myself the bad guy last week because I'm like, it's just not the government's job to build your house or to fix your house. But this is a settlement money. It's not taxpayer money. It's completely discretionary. I mean, taxpayers own it now, but it wasn't taxed. It was a settlement. So what's the right role, if any, of government when it comes to what City Hall should be doing for those who were hit by that tornado?
That should have been hit by their renters or mortgage or business insurance. But unfortunately, a large number of people did not carry that. Mm-hmm. So I can feel sorry for them. But it seems like that anytime the city spends money, it wants to spend it on North St. Louis, and North St. Louis needs a lot of help.
Yeah.
But it is causing some animosity for other regions within the St. Louis City area who feel like they're being ignored because North St. Louis needs such help, and they're getting the help, but a lot of that money is not actually ending up helping them. It's like anything else in government. It is the most inefficient way to help people on the planet. So much less of your money goes to actual cause when you're funneling it through the government than you would on a private charity.
Okay, so you passed a couple of resolutions at your last GOP meeting.
Yes.
One, I don't know that there's going to be anybody listening who's going to disagree with it. Then we'll get to the spicy one.
Yes.
Okay, one resolution calling on the city to knock off the lawsuit against the state over police control.
Yes.
What was the kind of the gist of that one?
We feel that the Board of Aldermen and unfortunately the mayor has gone into this thinking that we passed Amendment 4, I believe it was 2024, that requires that any municipality where Jefferson City controls the police department, they need to spend 25% of the revenue. At the time, that was only Kansas City. Well, thank you to Governor Kehoe that has signed and moved control from St. Louis City back to Jefferson City after just 12 short years of ruining the police department. So the city is screaming about that. I guess they thought that Jefferson City was going to be the sugar daddy to paying all these bills. And unfortunately, our police department is still way under staffed. Their equipment needs upgrades, police cars, weapons. Training is a big one. People complain about the city being sued about, certain things that happen with the police. Well, the first thing you knock off when you're cutting budget is training. So the city is really at fault for that. So we also don't think that they will have a leg to stand on this lawsuit. And when you're creating a lawsuit, you're spending legal fees no matter what.
Yeah, tens of thousands easily on this. Okay, so let's get to the other one. And this one has to do with calling for the governor and the legislature to gerrymander Missouri's maps again.
I wouldn't call it gerrymander.
Totally gerrymandering. It's 100% gerrymandering.
I wouldn't call it gerrymandering.
I would 100% by definition call this. Every state, Republican and Democrat, this is a gerrymandering war. But you're saying that Missouri should go to an 8-0 map and eliminate all Democratic seats. Why?
Well, I mean, we have a 14-0 map within the city of St. Louis as far as alderman representation. Look at the northeast side of the country, 30 to 40% Republicans in the northeastern side of the state country, not a single Republican seat. Even states that have actual Republican representation, they are far smaller than the actual percentage out there, such as California. Look at what they were trying to do in Virginia. Arizona has 0 Republican representation. Whenever Democrats are in power, the story we hear, the line we hear all the time is elections have consequences. The only time that Democrats scream about bipartisanship is when they're not in power. And why should Tennessee, that just flipped their map 9-0, why does Missouri constantly have to follow these other states that are out-conservating us? We've talked to several of the legislators out there. They're pretty much on board. They think this is a good idea. And why was it that the west side of the state got the attention when Congressional District 5 was mapped? I have, fortunately, Congressional District 1, you're looking at the last election, it was 78% Democrat, 16% voted Republican. How hard is it for me on the committee to run a candidate when they see that the odds are so stacked up against them? I would like to see it fair, 50-50. 45-55 would be better than 80-20.
Okay, so when those other, like California and Arizona, when they do that, I think a lot of people say, well, that's not right. We do that. Across Missouri, consistently, Democrats make up 43-46% of the vote. Right now, they've got 12% of the representation. You're talking about going down to 0. So is it just a matter of not fair, but that's the way the game's played?
We've been having that played against us for well over 30 years. Look at Illinois Congressional District 13. It is a long sliver from St. Louis all the way to Chicago, just to make sure that it hits every single Democrat strong point, so that is one more seat. Illinois is talking about trying to re-gerrymander their map in response to this. California is trying to do it. we've been seeing an unfair advantage, and another unfair advantage is that these blue states are counting non-citizens in their population in order to gain additional congressional seats that they should not be given, because their population should be, as far as representation, only American citizens.
Yeah, I would hope everybody would agree with that, but we know the left doesn't agree with that.
The left has to cheat.
Yeah. And with the resolution, you're actually asking for a special session. So are you looking at 2028? Because, I mean, the filing period for this year's elections is over. I mean, so you can't go back and restart the whole thing constitutionally, can you?
There, like Georgia is in actual voting right now with early voting, and they're talking about stopping it and looking at this. From what I understand, the Supreme Court is pushing for these. And Congressional District 1 exists because of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was deemed unconstitutional.
Just last week, yeah.
Yes. So there is definitely a problem with that district. It should be withdrawn. Can we get the push for the governor to actually do that? I hope so, because I think it's needed. If not, there's 2028. If not, there's 2030. But I think that Missouri needs to take a really good look at the eastern side of the state and start making adjustments where we can.
Yeah, I don't see how you can do it in 2026 just because of where we are in the calendar year. But you're saying that some state lawmakers are saying, yeah, we should talk about this.
Yes.
My guess is they would probably be looking at 2028. But
we approached them as actual special session, and they were pretty interested in this.
Okay. That's an interesting one. Again, just because of the filing period having been closed already, that I don't know how that would work. But okay, so people want to read the resolution for themselves. They want to catch up with you guys because obviously you're really busy in the city.
We work for a living in St. Louis City.
There are actual Republicans in the city, and probably a lot more than you realize. Let's give them the website and social media.
It is STL-GOP.com, and there is our WinRed links on there. We really could use some donations. $5, $10, $15, $25 would be helpful.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, it's tough to bring in candidates. I mean, I know it's been a tough one this time around as well. I mean, we're just looking at, okay, is Cori Bush or Wesley Bell going to win? That's going to be the end of it. I mean, basically.
Well, they're not different. If you look at the voting records, which we have, and they're both calling for removal of ICE, abolishment of ICE, and they're both calling to impeach our president.
Oh yeah, their voting records are very, very similar. It's just basically Cori Bush would be a fundraising boom for Republicans around the country.
And a big embarrassment, too.
Massive
every time she opens her mouth, especially with Hassan Parker a couple weekends ago.
Yeah, massive embarrassment to the entire region. All right, Kirk, good chat with you again. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, what we got going on here? Oh, we got the debate coming up. St. Charles County executive primary debate happening June 2nd at the Scheidegger Center on Lindenwood University's campus. This is free. Make sure that you're going to be there June 2nd. Go to NewsTalkSTL.com. Get all of the details on this.
Had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop right now before you blow us all away.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
This is Steve Rupp, president of Missouri Right to Life. Join us for the Make Missouri Pro-Life Again banquet with keynote speaker Riley Gaines on May 20th at the St. Charles Convention Center. We're fighting to restore protection for every unborn child in Missouri. Tickets to hear Riley Gaines are just $100. Seats are filling fast, so reserve yours now. Go to MissouriLife.org for details. Together, we will make Missouri pro-life again.
This year, America turns 250, and NewsTalk STL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. NewsTalk STL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration, Duchesne High School, Bula Yomo, and Mobile Magic Auto Body. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 1019 and 94.1 NewsTalk STL.
Spring has sprung at Daniel's Farming Greenhouses on Joggerman and St. Peters. Discover our breathtaking 55,000 square feet of greenhouses featuring 8,000 hanging baskets, hundreds of perennials, and 100,000 pods of colorful annuals. From vegetable plants to premium grass seed, mulch to herbs, our knowledgeable staff is ready to answer all your questions. Start spring off right with pansies, potted tulips, and everything your garden craves. Daniel's Farming Greenhouses. Visit us today on Juggerman or online at danielsfarminggreenhouses.com.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Cap Pastrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too. On Manchester at McKnight and Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight. But now let's get back to Mike.
Okay, I was surprised at how much of a thing, a stir, that this made. We mentioned this a couple hours ago, and people had a lot of strong opinions on this. I've seen news coverage all over the place. Secretary Sean Duffy, Transportation Secretary, he's a reality TV guy. And then, of course, his wife, Rachel Campos Duffy, reality TV gal. And I got the history lesson on that from Susie, who's a reality TV fan. Yes. I never watch The Real World. I don't know. But, they are products of reality TV. And now one of them is a secretary in the presidential cabinet. Okay. And so the Duffys, apparently over the last 5 to 7 months, have been filming another reality show. And essentially, they have a very large family. They've got nine children, some of whom are adults.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. So they've been filming this show that's exclusively for YouTube called The Great American Road Trip. And so they're back to their reality TV roots. And there's some people who are like, great, fantastic. The show is being marketed as part of the America's 250th celebration. Showing off the landscape and aspects of the culture around the country. And basically what they did is they take a whole family, I would think load them up in 2-3 vans. I mean, 9 kids, it's 11 people. And then you've got a crew and all this. And then they've gone different places around the country. It's a five episode series. And then just did, here's our timeout and, highlighting stuff. Okay. Well, content wise, I don't think there's anything objectionable about that. And then there's people saying, wait a minute, you're the Secretary of the Department of Transportation. We've got some huge transportation things. And so it's like you're moonlighting, and I don't even have that big of a heartburn, over that. To be real honest, listen, I had 2 kids and I couldn't imagine keeping up with 9. I could barely keep up with 2 sometimes. And so doing that while you are at a presidential cabinet level has got some people going, really? Okay, well, whatever, Others are pointing out, and this might be the one critique that actually kind of means something, is when you look at all of the sponsors, and this is apparently going to be a show that doesn't have any commercials per se. It's what they call, the term that they use is that it is fully self-funded, meaning major corporate sponsorships just underwrote the cost of the whole thing.
Okay, so
right.
So no tax money is going towards that, no commercial breaks, that sort of thing?
Yeah, and if there's a commercial break, it would be for the funders of the program itself, but yeah. So Boeing, Toyota, Shell, as far as oil, United Airlines, Royal Caribbean, Google, Enterprise, here in St. Louis, all of those, according to Forbes, are among the sponsors of this. Okay, so the Department of Transportation says the funds covered all of the travel and the activities for the family. They basically funded this nonprofit called Great American Road Trip Incorporated, which is a nonprofit that was set up to do the show. And then all of these groups donated to that, and then they took care of the Duffys' travel and stuff. The Duffys say, we did not receive any paychecks for this. They took care of our travel. We took the kids and we recorded the show. So people are saying, wait a minute. every single one of those companies, maybe with Google, not so much, but all of them to some degree are regulated by or have business dealings with the Department of Transportation. Okay. The argument from the administration is that the Duffys didn't make a penny off this. This is a celebration of America, basically, not a big deal. It's still worth asking the question, even if I don't think it's that big of a deal, when somebody like, for instance, Pete Buttigieg and Gavin Newsom and all of them, when they're just looking for any reason to complain, obviously.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's like, yeah, hold on, but there is at least the possibility of the appearance of a conflict of interest on that. Now, there may not be. They may have their finances completely airtight. Still not the greatest look. And if you want to have a great American road trip, anybody can host that. Anybody can do it.
Thematically, though, to play the advocate of, on the side of where in the world is Secretary Duffy, if you remember that series, all of these companies, including Google, have something to do with transportation.
Mm-hmm.
He is the transportation secretary.
Right.
He's transporting a dozen people of his own litter around the nation, and I can understand how that it would make sense to have transportation-related companies funding this thing.
Well, that makes sense for them.
It sort of encompasses the whole idea of what the department does. I mean, I haven't seen it, and I don't know if it's
it's not out yet.
Yeah, so of course I haven't seen it.
Right.
But I can understand why. On one hand, I can say that, yes, if you were in charge of regulating these companies and you're taking money to produce something from them, is that maybe a little iffy? But at the same time, on the other hand, it's like these are transportation companies. Who else is going to fund it?
Right, yeah. And again, anybody could do the Great American Road Trip. I mean, there's all kinds of famous people out there, that can do it. But, they both know reality television. They get that. Of course, keep in mind that, been some argument that this is more about branding, and some people have called it propaganda. I don't know that highlighting U.S. landscapes and culture is propaganda when you're celebrating something like a 250th anniversary, which, by the way, NewsTalkSTL.com, we're doing that too. We didn't have our own documentary or anything like that, but we've got a lot that's going on. So check out NewsTalkSTL.com for there. So it's one of those where it shouldn't be political, but it's becoming political. My guess is that they probably looked at the finances pretty clearly. They set up a nonprofit. These companies donate to the nonprofit. The nonprofit underwrites the expenses of the production, and the Duffys, they do, other than having their travel paid for, they do it on their own time because they didn't get paid for this, other than they got free travel and stuff. Yeah, free attending whatever it was they attended.
And I'm sure one of the kids could hold like a boom stand.
Sure,
one of them could hold the lighting, kind of cut down the cost. Now,
yeah.
Do you think it would be the same conversation if it had been like the National Park Service or any of those people getting funding to show off the landscape and the national
I think if, like for instance, that would be, of course, PBS has done all sorts of, highlights of the national parks and everything. I think they could easily do this. Most of the departments could have done something. But, do you have the Secretary of the Interior do that? Well, maybe. But you could also have anybody go do those. No, in this case, you have, branding of the secretaries. I mean, look at what happened with Kristi Noem. She decided to take taxpayer money and fund her own personal branding campaign, and she got run out on a rail of DHS. That. No, so they've structured this very, very differently. And if you may say, well, they learned their lesson from Kristi Noem. Well, no, this started long before Kristi Noem got the boot. And so they're doing this completely differently. I'm sure it's probably going to be an entertaining show. It's going to be exclusively for YouTube, and then I think one of the streaming services will air it a couple days after YouTube releases it. So there's a lot to celebrate, and we should be doing it. And it sounds like they're legal. Does it allow for question? Yes, I think that it does. Do I think there's anything that is devious about it? No, I don't. I think some people are just going to complain for the sake of complaining because a member of the Trump administration is getting their own show again on that. But they could have done this in a variety of different ways. But the reality is that Rachel and Sean Duffy are good on camera because they know reality TV and here's a shocker, just so you know, reality TV is not actually reality. It's as scripted as anything else.
No.
Yes. Go find whatever your favorite reality show. It is the same level of reality as 2.5 Men was, as the Big Bang Theory is, So it's all scripted and stuff. But I enjoy shows like that. I like the documentary type of profile type show. So I'm sure it's going to be done really well.
It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Now, hopefully, Secretary Duffy knows this somehow, some way, but while he's driving around, he might not have access to all the same radio stations that he likes. You can solve that by downloading the News Talk STL app, and then he can bring us wherever he is at this particular moment.
I hear he's a big fan.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure all 25 of them, right?
That's right.
But just like him, if you're on the road a lot and you can't always be by your by strong signals, you can download the free News Talk STL app onto your phone. That way you can bring us with you wherever you are, or if your time's a little bit more limited, you don't want to always get up super early with us. We get it. That's why we have a podcast where we re-upload all of the segments without the advertisements. So look up Mike Ferguson in the Mornings podcast on Spotify, Omni, NewsTalkSTL.com. I'm sure there are a few others as well.
Everywhere.
Or if you're
Google
more of a,
Play, you name it.
Or if you're feeling fancy, you can go on YouTube, Facebook, X, or Rumble and pull up the replay of the stream.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Dry air and sunshine in control. No need for that umbrella today as we kick off a new work week. Up to 77 this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Mostly cleared tonight, down to 55 for the low. And then we're a little warmer tomorrow. A high of 83 on Tuesday under mostly sunny skies. Let's be ready for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms passing through Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking dry through Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Fox News commentary with Jimmy Fallon. Next.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Here's Jimmy Fallon.
One of my favorite things about slanders against Donald Trump is to be like, oh, his daddy gave him a lot of money. How many people do you know who have rich parents who contribute absolutely positively nothing to the world? And the God's honest truth is, a lot of them. The fact that Trump had money, didn't need to work this hard to be that much more successful than his father, to ultimately become president of the United States, speaks to a level of self-motivation that he probably would have had if he grew up poor. Okay, regardless, we can't quantify that because he didn't. But the reality is, if most people have enough money to never work a day in their life, and it was given to them, they never work a day in their life. Most of the people who have created enough money to never work a day in their life never stop working.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
Stan Musial, he missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Some Sundays are made for the water. Sunday, May 17th, as the Cardinals take on the Kansas City Royals, make it a ballpark day too. That day, you can score a Cardinals boat tote presented by Coca-Cola and Walmart. A classic summer bag that fits right in from the dock to the dugout. It's ready for long weekends, sunny afternoons, and whatever plans you have next. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Remember when food tasted like home? When breakfast was made from scratch and dessert was worth saving room for? At Shorty's Diner, we're serving up down-home breakfasts, lunches, and desserts just like Mom used to make. Fresh, from scratch, every single day. Step back in time with us, where the booths are cozy, Elvis is always in the building, and every plate feels like a hug. On Lackland and Westport, or online at shortysdiners.com. Shorty's Diner. It's not fancy. It's not fat-free. It's just the way it used to be.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty.
The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion.
This is Kirk Hilzinger, chairman of the St. Louis City Republican Party. Connect with us at STL-GOP.com. Now it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Just seems like yesterday we were at the state capitol for the opening of the legislative session, and now we are in the last few days of it.
Wow.
This has been a wild one, and a lot of big stuff has actually gotten done. What remains to get done, because the clock is ticking and it runs out on Friday. We're now joined by State Senator Curtis Trent, who's in the thick of it, especially with the budget and the spending and that every aspect of it. And Curtis, first and foremost, you got to give credit where credit's due. Some of those big Republican promises that frankly have frustrated us by not getting done in years past, some of those got across the finish line this year, but now you're down to 5 days left. I mean, this ends on Friday. What still needs to be prioritized by Republicans? What big things can still get done this week?
Well, it's great to be here. I think that there's maybe two or three things I think should be high priorities that could still potentially get done. One is a bill that I've worked on called the A through F transparency bill, and essentially what that is creating a new framework for evaluation of school achievement. It would be a lot more focused on the academic achievement of the students and would focus it down to the building level so that parents would have a really good idea and very easily accessible information of how well their school was performing in relationship to their student. And ultimately, I think that's got to be the model going forward for the state, is put the parents in charge of their kids' educational destiny and give them the information and the tools that they need to hold the system accountable. Okay, and again, just 5 days less, so we're just, waiting on a final vote on where is the bill itself, House, Senate, that sort of thing? Yeah, the bill has gone through the House. It's in the Senate. We're trying to get it into a point where it can pass. Both with of course the Senate. Not only do you have to have 18 votes, you have to have everybody sit down, and so both of those things are always difficult to accomplish when you're talking about an education bill. But presuming that we can get there, if it passed out of the Senate, it would go back to the House for a final vote, because it would almost certainly have caught some changes, some amendments. And then it would be up to the House to decide whether it was in good enough shape to send to the governor. Okay, so transparency there. Not a lot with school choice this year. This was just one of those years where there just weren't the great big things, other than we're talking funding for most scholars. And obviously the stupid lawsuit from the teachers union was dismissed, thank goodness. But is expanding school choice just something that may be on more of the radar for next year then? Yeah, open enrollment was in the mix again this year as well. I think that it's got challenges still. So yes, I think next year there'll be a renewed and intense focus on education reform and education freedom. And so I think next year will probably be a better window than this year has ended up being. We are visiting with State Senator Curtis Trent with the Missouri Legislature's regular session, ending on Friday. Now, Curtis, you've been around for a number of these at this point. The last week of the year is either a battle royale of chaos, or you just kind of get senioritis, and depending on the dynamics. What's the vibe this year as far as like urgency to get a bunch of stuff done, or have the main things essentially been accomplished, and at this point we're just kind of wrapping up the paperwork? I'd say somewhere in between those two extremes. I mean, I think it's been largely a mood of cooperation still exists. I think there's still an opportunity to get things done. But like any end of session, there's a lot of landmines that could go off at any time. And if they do, then, it's, again, like it's very easy for either side to begin to filibuster and essentially just chew up the rest of session. So I think it's a closing window as always, but there's no immediate sense that it's about to explode. But those things, they change by the minute sometimes.
Right, and of course, by whatever happens next session, we will know what the vote's going to be regarding the income tax, repeal, and then the plan for that constitutional amendment. You were obviously deeply involved in coming up with that. This is going to be, once the session's over, this will be the fight in Missouri. This and Amendment 3 will be the two massive things. What do you want people to know about this? Because we are going to have some opponents on the show because we've given so much time to those who are supporting this. And we had our town hall event with Americans for Prosperity just a week or so ago. What is it that you want people to know about this? Because one of the early claims is this will raise sales taxes. And I've heard arguments, 20, 30%, which Ben Keithley's dealt with. But what are some of the things that you want people to keep in mind when they hear the arguments against?
Well, one of the things I'd like folks to keep in mind is that this is going to be revenue neutral, so it's not going to be a net tax increase. Where the taxes are levied will obviously change in some ways, because we're trying to change the methodology of how we collect taxes. But I think it's very important for people to understand that this is not going to be new revenue into the government. This is not going to be an increase in the overall tax burden on Missourians. The other thing I think is really important for folks to understand is that they're already taxed on everything by the income tax. Income tax taxes human labor, and everyone, like every service that is produced, every good that is produced, human labor is the foundation of all production in society. So when you have an income tax, you have a tax on everything, and it's a very sinister tax because it's not transparent. A lot of people, are concerned about this change because they don't realize that the tax burden is already being passed on to them. It's baked into the cost of every good and service that they buy, and so they feel like they aren't paying taxes, which they shouldn't feel that way. They, in fact, are paying. As a consumer, they're paying the whole burden of the government. And the income tax is sinister in a second way in that it discourages productivity. You really want a societal mechanism for revenue collection that does not discourage people from going out and working harder, from earning more money, and ideally you want a system that rewards people for saving and for investing, because savings and investing are what creates the capital, creates the pot of money that is used to increase productivity. And wouldn't we all rather have workers using a backhoe rather than a shovel, the equivalent thereof, when they go to work every day? Not only does that make them more productive, it makes their labor more valuable. It lets them earn more money. So this is a change that will unlock prosperity and growth in the state to never before seen levels. And just think if folks fully understood how bad the current system is, that this would not really even be a controversial measure in any way. There'd be almost universal acclaim for this. But folks just don't realize how bad our current tax system is because it is so hidden.
All right, Curtis Trent, state senator, last week of the session. I have not heard any rumblings about a special session this year. I just this may be a year where there isn't one, and and then we'll have veto later on in the year. But is there anything we need to keep an eye out for that could possibly result in a special session once this regular session concludes on Friday?
I can't think of anything at the moment, but oftentimes, extraordinary sessions happen because something unexpected happened. So I'd say always be prepared for a special, but there's really nothing on the horizon right at this moment that I would say gives me reason to believe that one could be imminent.
All right, and then obviously the midterms coming up, and we've already talked about the income tax, whichever that's going to be August or November. We're not sure yet. Amendment 3, Amendment 4. We've got some big decisions to make this coming year. What would be the smart messaging for the GOP, for Republicans this year in trying to get the conservative stuff done at the ballot now that the session's about to be over?
Every issue is sort of has its own contours and has its own messaging. But broadly, the issues that are at the ballot are the issues that confront folks when they decide where they're going to vote for a Republican candidate or a Democrat candidate at any time. Do you want a more prosperous state? Do you want a state that's freer, has less regulation? Do you want a state that's more reflective of the public will? Do you want to have a state that protects the life of vulnerable people and the life of the unborn and the life of vulnerable mothers? Or do you want a state that doesn't do those things? And so I think that this is really a directional election. Do you want Missouri to become more prosperous, more free, and more protective, or do you want it to be poorer and less protective and less representative of the hopes and dreams of the public?
All right, State Senator Curtis Trent, we've already tagged you on social media. Appreciate you being on, and I'll probably bug you sooner rather than later to get your kind of post-mortem on whatever happens this week.
Always glad to be here. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Curtis. All right, man, a lot going on here in the last week on this here. But I do think he's absolutely right that this is a directional midterm elections, particularly in the state. Yeah, a lot going on there. All right, one more news dump before we wrap up here. Coming your way.
Dr. Michael Lewis, West Point grad, physician, and retired Army colonel, is considered the world's leading expert on the use of omega-3s in brain health. He's also the author of When Brains Collide. Dr. Lewis, a lot of people take fish oil supplements, but how do you know they're working if you're not testing?
Elizabeth, I've come across the biggest breakthrough in my 30-plus years of medicine. What if you could test yourself at home to see if your fish oil supplements are actually working? And then have the right product, a combination of fish oil and olive oil, a perfect Mediterranean diet in a bottle delivered right to your doorstep. This is the answer to the American ultra-processed food diet. Email me at test@brainhealtheducation.org. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
Email Dr. Lewis today at test@brainhealtheducation.org and take the first step toward a healthier brain. Your future self will thank you. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
Columbo here for my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. The knowledgeable staff at Bluff City has served the St. Louis outdoor community for decades, and they can take care of all your bow hunting needs, all your trapping needs, all your fishing needs, and more. Plus, while you're there, you can schedule a trip with a local fishing guide and shoot in their archery range. Bluff City Outdoors is open 7 days a week, 1 mile east of Fast Eddie's at 2813 East Broadway in Alton. Follow them on Facebook and at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Columbo and Company.
Join us every day for conversations with a wide variety of guests as we keep you informed and up to speed on all the important news and headlines you need to know.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
Hey, Chris Arps from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show. Make sure that you're listening to our show this afternoon from 4 to 6. Now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
All right, no end in sight when it comes to the war, and that means directly no end in sight when it comes to gas price increases, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
My hope is that things stabilize out sooner rather than later, but as we head into the summer travel season, you need to be bracing yourself. This could get ugly here. Also, as we just talked with Curtis Trent, we're down the last 5 days of the Missouri legislative session, and the Cardinals' road trip in California continues this week. 8:49 right now. Let's do one more news dump.
The Morning News Dump brought to you by the Nutrition Stop.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
I got to stop by Nutrition Stop today. I get done here. I got to head out there. I got to pick up a couple of. Almost out of my pre-workout.
Oh,
yeah.
Let that happen.
No. Which nobody cares about. But I'm just saying. Around noon, I'm going to head over to Nutrition Stop. Okay. President Trump reacting to Iran's response to the U.S. proposal to end the war. President Trump calling Iran's suggestion totally unacceptable. So Iran was asking for war reparations in exchange for limiting its nuclear enrichment capabilities. In other words, bribe us to not enrich uranium and enrich it to create a nuclear bomb, when the reality is their history is bribe us and we're going to do it anyway. We're going to use the bribe money to do it anyway, is most likely what would have happened.
It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman is Brian Mast out of Florida. He was on Sunday Night in America on Fox last night, and he says that the economic pressure being put on Iran, talking about sanctions and blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, and he says that is forcing Iran back to the negotiating table.
It's like putting a pillow over the face of somebody that's already on life support. They don't have a choice but to be at the table, but they're acting in reluctance. Their response shows you that.
You know, of course, the CIA just last week says that Iran may be in a position to hold out for months, though. So I would not expect, that we have an imminent end to the war right now.
For a people who we've been told for weeks now that they are on the verge of collapse and that they are desperate to make a deal, they certainly don't seem to be very urgent with their deal making.
They're not. Okay, Senator Mark Kelly, Democrat out of Arizona, was on Face the Nation on CBS discussing the president's handling of the conflict in the Middle East, and he's got a very different view.
This president got our country into this without a strategic goal, without a plan, without a timeline, and because of that, we've expended a lot of munitions. And that means the American people are less safe.
Okay, and that caused some controversy as well because Senator Kelly indicated that he was in some classified briefings regarding that and then stated some of the munitions levels, which has gotten him a lot of criticism, saying, wait a minute, are you giving out classified information and telling our enemies that we're low on bullets and bombs and missiles and stuff like that? So watch for that to see if that happens. The president's going to be in China this week to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two are expected to discuss, trade and all that kind of stuff. However, the president's made it pretty clear he wants to pressure them on their support for Iran.
Yeah, that seems to be maybe how Iran's able to continue holding up so long, is if China's still doing business with them and giving them the funds they need, and if Russia's providing some sort of munitions, then that's going to need to be stopped as soon as possible if we want to hope to get out of there soon.
So I suspect the president is going to try to triangulate all of those things. Okay, this is an interesting stat. Missouri is a top 5 state in a statistic nobody wants to be in. According to Save Max Auto, which analyzed FBI crime data, the Show Me State is number 5 on the list of states where you're most likely to have your car stolen.
Yikes.
Wow. Okay, between 2021 and 2025, there were almost 121,000 auto thefts in Missouri.
Gadzooks.
That's a lot. Now, that comes out to, per capita, 1,950 stolen vehicles per 100,000 residents. And that per capita is what they were looking for. So number 5 in Missouri, my guess is going to be the bulk of those, the majority of those, if not the vast majority, Kansas City and St. Louis.
That would be probably a safe bet.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Springfield and Columbia have some issues too. I'm sure there were some there as well. Illinois ranks number 13 on that list. They had more stolen vehicles, 147,000. However, with their population being so much bigger, that's about 1,175 thefts per 100,000 residents.
Different per capita rating.
Yeah. Yes, completely. Okay, some of the country's wealthiest are leaving Democrat-led cities like New York City and Democrat-led states like California because of new proposed policies to tax the rich.
That'll do it.
Yep. Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, Republican, most likely going to be the next governor of the state of Florida. He was on Fox's One Nation with Brian Kilmeade saying the policies like what California is doing and what New York City is doing, these are absolutely just stupid, negative consequences. And the red states just benefit from them.
You have to protect property rights. You have to protect people's ability to build wealth and retain wealth. And yes, you can't overtax them because if you kill the golden goose, especially with very wealthy people, they'll just leave and you'll be left holding the bag.
Okay, so Mamdami's plan in New York City, he's proposing, is a tax aimed at owners of real estate that's valued at $5 million or higher in order to fund city services. And, of course, $5 million in New York City is nothing. I mean, nothing.
That's probably barely upper middle class.
That's going to be most everybody, honestly, on that. But taxing you because you have property, basically.
Yeah, and that I don't understand economically how it's a good idea to say, hey, we hate you because you have so much wealth, but by the way, we need your wealth, so give it to us, but by the way, you're still evil. So
yeah.
I mean, I guess good luck, but when people start fleeing to other places and you're even broker than you were before, you've got nobody to blame but yourself.
Well, not to mention that, okay, you want to tax the real estate. You say, well, $5 million or more. Well, remember, literally almost any sort of apartment complex or anything is going to be well over $5 million. Brownstones are going to be over that. So you add that tax, you make housing even less affordable. You make office space even less affordable. You make being in business less affordable. So there's a residual effect there. It's just common math that you should understand that. Okay, so after the war, apparently, again, this is going to keep going on. Americans, we may be about to get a jolt at the gas pump again. GasBuddy.com petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan says prices may be about to get even uglier for most of us.
This coming week, we'll likely see a bit of a jump in many states across the country. The national average could reach a new multi-year high. It could jump to $4.65 a gallon in the next few days.
Okay, AAA is reporting that the national average price for a gallon of gas as of this morning, when I looked last, is $4.52. So we're talking about another 12, 13, 14 cents from what DeHaan was saying. Statewide, the average prices are $4.14 in Missouri and $4.97 in Illinois. Now, here in the metro, prices range from $4.17 a gallon in Warren County to $4.87 in St. Clair County, Illinois.
Wow.
So look, in Illinois, I mean, they've already crossed the $5 mark a time or two, especially up in Chicago. That's probably going to be the reality within a couple of weeks or so. And Missouri could very well be up in those mid $4 range. Shoot, Susie's right. This is not sustainable at all. I mean, people are planning their summer vacations and things like that, and they're going to start factoring these things in.
And people typically are motivated to vote based on what they can immediately feel,
Yes,
rather than what they're being told is the case. And I can't imagine going from paying $2.60 here to now, I think it was what, $3.19 or $4.19 that Susie said. I can't imagine people are going to be motivated to want to support more of this.
No. All right, just a quick reminder, MoDOT is going to intermittently close parts of I-70 in Wentzville starting here in about 10 minutes or so. All westbound lanes at Route Z are going to be shut down 15 minutes at a time, 3 times a day, sometime between 9 and 2 o'clock. They're just going to do that intermittently. That's to allow some rock excavation. This is all part of the I-70 expansion. The intermittent closures are expected, weather permitting, to last about 3 weeks. But even one 15-minute closure, that's not going to slow you down by 15 minutes. That's going to slow you down by a lot because that traffic's going to back up hard. This is only westbound, by the way, only westbound. Okay, Cardinals lose in 10 innings to the Padres in San Diego. Final score 3-2. Jordan Walker hit his 11th home run of the season in that game. The two teams end up splitting that 4-game series, winning 2 games apiece. Redbirds are off today. They start a series with the A's in Sacramento on Tuesday.